perfection. You know I'm through with you. Your hoops are my obsessions, always jumping through. I'm so tangled, I'm so worthy. I'm just lost in my reflection. Pay attention, you never will. Victim, but when I'm lowest, time to get to know myself. I'm still tangled, I'm not worried, 'cause I am caught up in this perfection. Pay attention, yeah, you never will, 'cause you depend, so you always will. Can I make something good out of this? Can I make something good out of this? Chances are you will not be missed, 'cause you don't give a shit. Can I make something good out of this? You could be late, you could be true, you could be underneath my shoe. Sometimes you're the only one who's strong, and I'll be devastated if I'm wrong. I am the one you love to hate, but you cannot devastate. It will be interesting, I'm sure, 'cause I want more. Can I make something good out of this? Can I pretend that something is missing? Chances are you will not be missed, 'cause you don't give a shit. Can I make something good out of this? You will be late, you could be true, you could be underneath my shoe. Sometimes you're the I'll be devastated if I'm wrong. I am the one you love to hate, but you cannot devastate. It will be interesting, I'm sure, 'cause I want more. What up, people? Oh yeah, yeah. Dude, how about that football game? Hey, you could be late, you could be true, you could be underneath my shoe. Sometimes you're the only one who's strong, and I'll be devastated if I'm wrong. I am the one you love to hate, but you cannot devastate. It will be interesting, I'm sure, 'cause I want more. Yo, 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 you've been waiting for me. All right. Yeah, I got a little thrown behind schedule-wise. So I had to watch that football game of our future Raiders quarterback. I want more from you, yeah, more. I want more. I want more from you, yeah, more. I want 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 more. Let's go. Get the big red in the house. Yeah, yeah. Dude, it's so weird. Like, so I can never get used to like listening to that song because the guy who sings the background vocals at the very end is the bass player of that band, and he's dead. Dude, he died 21 years ago, right? Like, it's just crazy to think about that like he died at 35, bro. And like, man, it's wild. It's wild to think about that. Right? Kyle did shout us out. Yeah, he shouted us out. Like, let's go. Dude, and he like left a comment. Yeah, he's been pretty cool actually. Pretty cool. Unexpected. I mean, I'm glad he fucking, connects with that kind of shit with people who make content about him. I think that's pretty fucking cool, man. Dude. Oh shit, boss. You should have a chat on stream. I mean, I'm sure we will eventually. I've been trying to get in contact with him, and I'm sure I will eventually. I mean, I had put it out through the grapevine a while ago that I'd like to, I'd like to meet him. Dude, here's a little something to start the night out. Let's go stop the stupidity. So, dude, how about that football game, bro? So, all right. So, just to share with you little personal information before we get to the politicking. So, I've been a Raiders fan since 1975. All right. Since I was a little kid, like very early on, I became a Raiders fan living in a tiny town in Wisconsin. And part of the reason why I became the Raiders fan was like everyone in that Wisconsin town was a Green Bay Packers fan. You know what I'm saying? Everyone was a Green Bay Packers fan. And I didn't like the Packers. I didn't like their colors. Okay.
I did not. I didn't. The green and yellow and the fucking, I don't know, the Packers, just the name, the Green Bay Packers. Nobody likes a Packer. I don't even know what a fucking Packer is. So I didn't like that fucking team. And, you know, I didn't like it at all, right? But I noticed that the Raiders, like, made everyone mad. They did. Everybody hated the fucking Raiders. Like, everybody in the small town that I fucking lived in hated the Raiders. They got under people's skin so bad. So that's why I picked them, right? As a young 6-year-old, because they had cool colors and everyone hated them. They caused the biggest emotional reaction. Okay? So I started a journey of being a Raiders fan for life. This was in the 𝗙ecie𝗶𝗹𝗹𝗀 days, and then eventually it went on to Jim Plunkett. And I mean, there's a lot that I loved about the Raiders growing up. Al Davis was a force of nature. I mean, he did a lot of crazy shit too. First Hispanic head coach, first woman executive, first black head coach. I mean, he pushed a lot of boundaries as far as diversity went. Dude, let's go, elite, let's go. Yeah, baby. Mendoza, right? He pushed a lot of boundaries, and he pissed a lot of people off too, Al Davis did. And he had this thing where every draft, he would draft the fastest player in the draft. That was Al Davis's thing. He liked speed. And so every year he drafted the fastest. The guy who got the fastest 40 time was like going to be a fucking Raider, like every year, because he just wanted the fastest players, right? And so I've been a Raiders fan for a long time. And I don't know how many years ago it was, but a while ago, the Raiders had hit hard times. And, you know, so I started buying season tickets when they were really, really cheap. Okay. And so I became a Raiders season ticket holder as an adult. And, you know, I would go to games when Bryce was little. We would fly down to Oakland and go to games. And then I moved to Vegas. Like, I got seats in the Vegas stadium. So I have 4 seats in the new stadium. And we've gone to some games. Mostly I sell them, but it, you know, because I can't afford to be flying a lot. Like, the more money I get, if I could fly there for every game, I would go to every game. But I can't afford that. So I sell them. But I've been a Raiders season ticket holder now for like more than a decade, right? I did not move to Vegas. I meant I moved, like, my season seats moved to Vegas. I'm not moving to Vegas, but I've been a season ticket holder for a chunk of time. But like, during the whole time that I've been a season ticket holder, there's not been a lot to get excited about. Okay. I was not super excited about Derek Carr. I mean, he was good. And dude, he had that one great season, but he never electrified me. I was always worried about him because he came from a small school and he did really poorly in the biggest games. Like Derek Carr, even when he went to like a championship game, he always got blown out by the good teams. But like this Mendoza kid, you move to Vegas and love it. Let's go. Dude, I like Vegas. I really enjoy going there. But so this Mendoza kid, I'm really excited about him, which is wild because he's a total, like, he is so Jesus-y. Like, bro, he is like one of the more Jesus-y guys I've ever seen in the NFL. But dude, I love his energy. I do. I like the Mendoza kid's energy. And I like the story too. Like, his mom has MS. And so I mean, you know, being a gifted athlete and then watching your mom have a degenerative disease, there's like a lot of like, I don't know, there's a complexity to him. And seeing him and his coach sort of tear up, you know, after this game, like his coach was wild. Watching the coach, you could tell, dude, Tom Brady kisses his son on the mouth. No one cares. I don't care about that shit. Like, I don't think there's, I didn't think Tom Brady kissing his son was fucking weird. You know, I didn't find that weird, man. You know, there's a lot of cultures that have like more affection. There's only like that weird homophobia shit. I don't get it. You know what I mean? I kissed my dad on the mouth when I was a kid. A lot of people are like into affection like that. But so anyway, to get back to the point though, I'm excited about this year. I'm excited with the energy. Like Tom Brady was at the game, dude. Brady and Mark Davis and Spytek, the general manager, they were there on the sidelines. Dude, what a game, bro. Dude, what a fucking game, though. That 4th and 5 down by the goal line, they do a quarterback run and the kid runs it in. Like, that was like nuts, boss. You know what I'm saying? That's fucking nuts. Dude, let's go. You wish Trump's dad would have kissed him? I know. Can you imagine? Can you imagine what the world would be like if Trump's dad had actually been remotely affectionate with him? Dude, let's go. Got to figure out Crosby? Yeah, no, I think Crosby will be fine. I think Crosby's frustrated, but like, dude, you know, he can get on board or like, you know, you ship him out. Because, I mean, Max Crosby is great, but what's more important than the players being great is the players being committed. And so my thing is, even with Crosby, if Crosby is like, you know, I love Max, don't get me wrong, and I want him to be a Raider, but if Max Crosby is fucking, you know, if he doesn't want to be there and he's going to be a negative, then you just boot him and you fucking trade him, you get some premium picks and you move on. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't really have fucking crybabies, right? I don't care how good you are. If you're going to be a fucking crybaby, like, and with the shit over him not being on the field, dude, we needed that 1st round pick. Dude, Crosby needed to shut the fuck up, dude. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I appreciate the guy. He's a great player, but you're part of the team, dude. You got to fucking, sometimes you got to zip it, you know? You know what I'm saying? I don't like the prima donna shit. You know what I'm saying? No matter how good you are, like, it's still a team sport, right? And you know what I loved? What I loved at the end of the game today, right? What I loved at the end of the game today was when they were talking to that Mendoza kid and they were talking about the touchdown run, and he said, I will die for like my teammates. He's like, I don't fucking care. I don't care. Like, I know the line was having trouble. Everybody was beating the shit out of me, but he's like, I don't fucking care. I will fucking put my life on the line for my teammates. And I like that kind of energy, right? I remember during the Derek Carr era, like Derek Carr would be, oh, I'm not going to get too high, not going to get too low. And I'm like, dude, that is weak, bro. I don't want a quarterback who says I'm not going to go too high, not going to get too high, not going to get too low. I want one who says like, dude, I will fucking break my neck out there to like win this shit. You know what I mean? I'm like ultra competitive. So I'm excited. Dude, I'm excited. I don't even like college football, but I was watching it tonight, man. I was rooting. So yeah, there's my spiel, dude. I'm pumped. Yeah, no, Nix is out, dude. Isn't that crazy? They win the game, but now they have no quarterback. Dude, New England's going to be in the Super Bowl. Denver's season is over. Dude, yeah, the Broncos lost their quarterback. It happened 3 plays before the end of the game, dude. Yep, he's out. They won the game and he's out. So New England's going to the Super Bowl, boss. And then Seahawks versus Rams. I hope the Seahawks go. Dude, Denver will still win. No, they will not, dude. Dude, come on, Raptor. I appreciate your energy. Denver will still win, but I would not put money on that. As your financial advisor, please do not bet the farm on that. Oh shit, boss. Yeah, dude. I mean, it's crazy. And then the Bills fired their head coach, dude. I know Elite was in here. He's a Bills fan. He said Raiders are getting an amazing QB in the draft. But yeah, dude, I can't believe the Bills fired their coach. That's pretty wild. Pretty crazy. Stidham. I mean, Stiddy's not bad. Dude, Stiddy's not bad, but like, you know, I don't know about that. You never know. You never know. I mean, anything could happen. I mean, it's any given Sunday, right? Like New England could just have a bad day and 𝗙ity could have a good day. And there you go, right? It can happen. Philly won with the backup quarterback. They did. Nick Foles, though, was like, you know, Nick Foles was Nick Foles. He had his moment, but you never know. I mean, 𝗙ity was a Raider too, boss. He was a Raider as well. But all right, we're going to get into politics tonight. Dude, what a crazy day. Okay, let's start off. We're going to start off with, right? You're not sure if you saw the DM you had the game one. I did see your message, right? It's not on him. I mean, I will say this. I watched the replays of that game, Elite, and like the Bills were like a little sloppier than usual, which is unfortunate. I don't know what it was. They just weren't, they were not their usual sharp self. They kept letting them back into the game, which was weird, right? I don't know. It was pretty fucking pretty bizarre. Like a little unbills. They were a little off. Like, I don't know. I don't know if they thought they were going to have it a little more in the bag or something. But you never know, man. So, dude, can we start with this fucking Trump shit? Like, bro, Trump, what are we doing, guys? Do you see this, like, letter? Can we look? Dude, look, here, let me just show you though as a Raiders fan. Okay, here's tonight. This is our new quarterback, right? There we go. There's Mendoza. And then here's Derek Carr. A Derek Carr moment. You ready? Look at this shit, dude. When he fumbled out of the end zone. Not only did they not score the touchdown and get the points, but he gave the ball to the other team, right? Fucking, right? It was 2 points for the other team, dude. Fucking safety. Bro, right? Dude. Like, dude, isn't this funny? This is the Raiders, yeah. Not only did he not score, he gave the opponents 2 points and fucking just kicked his own team right in the fucking nuts, dude. That was the Derek Carr. And there's Mendoza, who was like, nah, bro, right? Oh, shit. Dude, let's go. It's going to be a good year, boss. You don't get, like, for me, I mean, maybe you guys do, but like a lot of people don't know this because they think, oh, leftist, whatever. I was a video gamer, blah, rock and roller. But like, guys, I am a competitor like you cannot imagine, dude. I mean, I was too small to play football. I wanted to. I played in 9th grade. But so I ended up being a swimmer, but I was a fucking championship swimmer. I worked hard to fucking win. I'm like, when it comes to competition, I am like aggro and unrelenting and never giving up, sort of like feist. I'm like so aggressive with the competition. Like even when we go to Jenny's house for Christmas, we'll play games, right? With the family, with her family. And there have been times where her dad is like, do you have to be so competitive? Because I am like so competitive. I am out for blood and like talking shit at the fucking table. Dude, when we're playing like fucking board games and shit. Because I like to win, dude. I am obsessed with fucking winning, bro. I am, dude. I am obsessed with winning. So seeing this shit just makes me fucking happy, bro. This is the kind of shit I want on the Raiders, boss. Dude, I am so fucking aggro. I am. It's like, I don't know what it is. I'm just really, really competitive. I grew up, I mean, I was the youngest of 7 kids. So I grew up like, if you wanted something, you had to fucking fight for it. You know, you did. You had to fight for that shit. Like, there was like no room for people to be passive in my family. Between authoritarian father and 4 older half brothers, like there was no fucking around, you know? You had to be the real. You had to be the real deal, boss. It was a very aggressive family I grew up in. Let's go. Dude, let's go. This is an iconic photo, isn't it, though? It was a dog-eat-dog world even back then. Yeah, man. Only girl with all brothers? Oh, yeah, I bet that was feisty. So, guys, let me just say, okay, we got to start with fucking Trump here. Because what the fuck are we doing with this shit? This is batshit, okay? What are we doing? Did you guys see this letter from Trump to Norway, to the leader of Norway? I mean, mind-blowing. The fact that our country is not like 25th Amendmenting this motherfucker right now is unbelievable. Okay? Unbelievable. Look at what this says. It says, "Dear Jonas, considering your country decided not to give me the Nobel Peace Prize for having stopped 8 wars, plus I no longer feel an obligation to think purely of peace, although it will always be predominant, but can now think about what is good and proper for the United States of America. Denmark cannot protect that land from Russia or China. And why do they have a right of ownership anyway? There are no written documents. It's only that a boat landed there hundreds of years ago, but we had boats landing there also. I have done more for NATO than any other person since its founding, and now NATO should do something for the United States. The world is not secure unless we have complete and total control of Greenland. Thank you, President DJT." Dude, first off, it's like written like a 7-year-old writing a letter to fucking Santa, for starters. Like, oh my God. But can we just break this down here? He literally said, because Norway didn't give me the Peace Prize, like now I'm not really concerned about peace anymore. So maybe I'll go to war with Europe because you guys upset me. First off, Norway doesn't own Greenland, and the Norwegian government doesn't give out the prize. Like, what a loser. What a loser, bro. And this whole right of ownership, a boat landed there. Yo, Donnie, I know you were pretty dumb in school, but you may not realize that that's how we got America too, bro. A boat landed here. It's not like we came here and got some written formal invitation to take all this land from the native people. Like, dude, this guy is so dumb. Okay? And then this line down here about him doing more for NATO. He's been trying to destroy NATO. He is a complete, like, dumb fuck. And, you know, the complete and total control of Greenland. Bro, that shit is like just so toxic. What a hoser. And so anybody in MAGA that is defending this guy, you guys no longer have a leg to stand on. Because remember, guys, remember how they used to talk about like he was the peace president and he was like the deal-making president, and now he's just walking around like wanting to war with everybody and being like, oh, you can't prove it belongs to you, so therefore we're going to take it. What a dink, bro. This guy has dink level that is like, his dink meter is like so far in the red that, you know, there are dinks all around the world that are just passing out from his dinkness. Dude, unbelievable, bro. Jesus. When I read that, I was like, how? How are we, right? How are we not like booting that guy? Any sane government, any sane and competent government on the planet would be booting this guy. You know what I'm saying? Would be booting this guy instantaneously, right? This guy needs to get the boot. Dude, he stopped 8 wars. Dude, he started like 8 wars. Yeah, 𝗙𝗍𝗃 gonna grape. 𝗙𝗍𝗃 gonna grape, man. What a clown, boss. Okay, so anyway, that's how we kicked it off, guys. Dude, we kicked it off with Donald Trump's insane letter, okay? His insane fucking letter to NATO, to the president of Norway. Then the Norwegian president responded. You bet he has a micropene? Oh, Angie. Yeah, we've heard, Angie. All reports are that it's 2-inch mushroom shaped. Okay, so now the response. The Norway response is here. Okay. See if we can get a bigger one. I guess that's the only one we're going to get. All right. All right. So it says, this is the statement from Prime Minister Jonas regarding communications with President Trump. And so here's what he says. He says, I can confirm that this is a text message I received yesterday afternoon from President Trump. It was a text message. Oh, shit. Dude, let's go. It came in response to a short text message from me to Trump sent earlier the same day on behalf of myself and President of Finland. In our message to Trump, we conveyed our opposition to his announced tariff increases against Norway, Finland, and select other countries. Because this is, you know, part of his retribution campaign was not only is he mad and he's talking shit about people, he is levying a 10% tariff on a host of European countries. And then in June, it's going to kick up to 25% as retribution. Okay. He is so trashy. Trashy is such a great way of putting it. He's like low grade is what he is, right? He's like a low grade, like a Reno mobster. Okay. And yes, we pay tariffs, but it does harm everybody. Tariffs just harm everyone, you know. All right. Anyway, he says, we pointed to the need to de-escalate and proposed a telephone conversation between Trump, Stubb, and myself on the same day. The response from Trump came shortly after the message was sent. It was his decision to share his message with other NATO leaders, says Prime Minister Jonas. So basically what happened was they wanted to talk to Trump, and Trump was like, screw you. Here's my little message. He says, Norway's position on Greenland is clear. Greenland is a part of the Kingdom of Denmark, and Norway fully supports the Kingdom of Denmark on this matter. We also support that NATO, in a responsible way, is taking steps to strengthen security and stability in the Arctic. As regards the Nobel Peace Prize, I have clearly explained, including to President Trump, what is well known. The prize is awarded by an independent Nobel committee and not by the Norwegian government, right? Like, bro, you know what I mean? It is so ridiculous. Well, yeah, so the T-Bone, so the thing about it is he forwarded the text message, right? It was pretty clear in the thing I read that Trump composed the message and then had it forwarded to him by text. That was in the original thing I read. It was pretty clear that it was a forwarded message, right? But so, dude, brutal. I mean, it's just brutal how stupid Trump is. He is so fucking stupid, you know? You know what I'm saying? So dumb. Dude, unbelievable. But the chaos of this is insane, dude. The absolute fucking chaos is fucking like unbelievable, bro. Like, what are we doing? And then did you see this other shit, dude? Look at this, guys. Right, it gets better because now, obviously, there's no incentive for the people of Greenland to become Americans, okay? They have health care. They have social safety nets. They have, like, all manner of government protections. They have a good quality of life, okay? If America shows up and Greenland became part of America, they would have no health care. They would be, their entire, like, island would be overrun by mining and extraction companies that would just gut every resource out of the country. The whole country would become like a port town of just American degeneracy. Like, dude, they would get exploited for low wages. Like, they would get looted. The whole thing would be so terrible. Now, what's wild about this is the bribery that they're attempting, okay? Like, if you look at Hannity, look at what Hannity was saying, dude. Look at this shit. Dude, Hannity, right here, you ready? Look at this.
Which is not exactly a smart position for them to take. President Trump is now considering offering up to $100,000 per resident.
Oh, wait, sorry.
This is a little over $56,000.
Look at this.
Which is not exactly a smart position for them to take. President Trump is now considering offering up to $100,000 per resident. This is a little over 56,000 residents in Greenland. And he wants to actually activate the economy of the island and let its citizens benefit and capitalize on the vast natural resources. Only the U.S. can do this, giving residents there a chance to build real significant wealth. Every one of them.
Dude, first off,
which is not exactly a smart.
First off, anybody can extract those natural resources as Sean Hannity, you dumb fuck. But, dude, they're going to give residents of Greenland $100,000 each. What about us, bro? Right? Isn't that insane? Is that not the most insane fucking thing you've ever heard? Look at, here's what I said, guys. Look at this shit. Right here. I was like, dude, America first, right? America first is going bankrupt so your president can give $100,000 to every person in a foreign country, right? That is America first, baby, right? $100,000 to every resident in a foreign country is so America first. It hurts, dude. It's like, dude, I feel like MAGA just fucking pounded into my colon like a fucking railroad spike, bro. Jeez Louise, dude. $100,000 each for the residents of Greenland, for the foreign country. Like, wow. That is like hard to process that he's even talking about that. And then he told us, oh yeah, we're going to get like $1,000 tariff check or some shit, right? We're going to pay $10,000 a year for tariffs. And then we're going to get $2,000 back, a $2,000 rebate on our $12,000 we've paid in tariffs. But man, if you're from the foreign country, like Argentina or Israel or Greenland, AKA Denmark, you get the fat cash, boss. Dude, remind me to quick become a citizen of Denmark so I can get some of that American benefit money, right? So I can get some of my tax money back. I have to go apply for citizenship in Denmark. Dude, like, isn't that crazy? That is MAGA and Donald Trump. Is if I want to be benefited by my own tax money, I now have to become a citizen of Denmark to do it. Dude, America, let's go. How do they support this, guys? How do MAGA, if you're MAGA, how do you look in a mirror and like look at yourself? How? There's no way. You have to be like a sociopath. You have to be. There's no way you can look at the shit this man is doing and still be like sniffing his chair. There's no way, bro. Something wrong with y'all. All right. All right, dudes. Dude, yeah, let's do, agree, let's do fucking dance party goal. All right, let's get it. Dude, I'm going to have to dance my way out of this shit, boss. Holy hell, bro. Isn't that crazy? There it is. The Denmark dance party. America. Dude, they are majorly delusional, right? Yeah, no, he's asking for $1 billion for his little, like, stop stupidity, let's go. For his little whatever, his I don't know what he's calling it, the Trump roundtable of idiots. America. Oh, man, dude. All right. Dude, LFG, Ella, let's go. Dude, I am just so wildly disappointed. Okay? I am so wildly disappointed that, you know, what does this guy says right here? This guy says, it says the suicide pact, what happens the moment we touch Greenland. Dude, Tara, let's go. Thank you, Tara. Appreciate you, boss. Dude, gig tax service with the membership. Gifted, let's go. 𝗙ecie𝗶𝗹𝗀, the American way. Extortion. Yeah. Dude, isn't that crazy? So this is interesting. It says, if the United States follows through on the threat to invade Greenland, we need to be crystal clear about what happens the next morning. This is not a real estate transaction or a routine military exercise. It is the geopolitical equivalent of pulling the pin on a grenade in a crowded elevator. The moment American boots hit the ground in Nuuk to seize territory from a fellow NATO member, the world as we know it ends. The consequences will not be temporary sanctions, or the consequences will not be temporary sanctions or angry letters. They will be total, permanent, and devastating. The first domino to fall is the North Atlantic Treaty Organization itself. NATO is built on the sacred promise of Article 5 that an attack on one is an attack on all. If the U.S. attacks Denmark, we are not just breaking the treaty, we are triggering it against ourselves. NATO dissolves instantly. The alliance that kept peace in Europe for 75 years evaporates, leaving the continent to rearm and realign against the new aggressor across the Atlantic. We don't just lose an ally, we create a unified enemy. The military repercussions will be swift and humiliating. Europe will immediately demand the closure of every U.S. military base on the continent. Ramstein in Germany, Aviano in Italy, Lakenheath in the UK, all gone. Our ability to project power into the Middle East and Africa vanishes overnight. We will be evicted from the very soil we helped liberate and defended for decades, forced to retreat to our own shores as a fortress nation, isolated and friendless. Then comes the economic nuclear option. The European Union is the largest single market in the world, and they will weaponize it. Europe will likely move to call in U.S. debt and dump their dollar reserves, sending the value of our currency into a death spiral. The U.S. economy, which relies on the dollar being the global reserve currency, will collapse. Inflation will make the post-COVID spikes look like a rounding error. Your savings will be worthless before the ink dries on the invasion orders. Corporate America will face an extinction event. U.S. companies will be expelled from the European market. Apple, Google, McDonald's, and Tesla will see their assets seized or their operations banned. Trillions of dollars in market capitalization will be incinerated in minutes. The stock market will not just crash, it will close. We are talking about the complete deglobalization of American industry, cutting us off from the wealthiest consumers on the planet. I mean, it sounds pretty grim, okay? It does. It sounds pretty grim. And you know, you got to wonder, I mean, if Europe would follow through with all of that shit. I mean, it seems legitimate. I mean, why wouldn't they? Right? Why wouldn't they do that? I mean, I would. I feel like if I'm Europe, I'm keeping the US on a short leash, especially after what happened with Maduro. I mean, look at what Trump did, guys. Okay, with Maduro, that was some bullshit. He kidnaps Maduro, brings him to the US. The Maduro regime is still running Venezuela. Then he takes like $500 million worth of oil and just whisks that money off to a private account over in Qatar. Like, dude, it's complete thuggery and corruption at this point. And he is like partnered with some of the nastiest people in the Middle East. I mean, this is like, there's no reason that Europe shouldn't sink us. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we're an unreliable partner at this point, you know. Dude, I did tweet earlier today, though, where I was like, what timeline are we on, guys? Where I am rooting for Europe to kick the shit out of my own government. How terrible is that, guys? Dude, let's go. Stop stupidity with the gift ed. You know what I'm saying? Like, how terrible is it that I am rooting for Europe to kick the shit out of my own government, dude? That is the timeline we're on. It just feels like it's not right, dude. Like, I shouldn't be having to do this. You know, and we have been like good for each other and with each other. And Europe, I mean, I don't know, dude. They have really like forged a path, you know, coming back from destruction. And I mean, granted, we funded a lot of that and we had a lot of investment there, but we had like good global partners. Magnolia, it seems Trump is paid to crush the U.S. No, it really does. Like guys, let me just see if I can find the tweet. There was a 𝗏𝗏 tweet. Let me find it where I think 𝗏𝗏 said it really nice, guys. I know a lot of people, like a lot of these right-wingers, they don't like 𝗏𝗏, but look at this shit. Right here. He says, ask yourself, if Donald Trump was intentionally trying to destroy the United States, how would you be able to tell the difference between that and what he's doing right now? You know what I mean? I mean, literally, if Donald Trump were actively trying to destroy the country, I don't think it would look a lot different than what he's actually doing right now. This literally looks like, if he's not trying to destroy the country, what the fuck is he doing, bro? You know? Like, if you're not, like, that's my thing, is Trumpy, if you're not trying to destroy the United States, then what exactly are you trying to do? Because every angle I am looking at it from is like, nope, yep, oh, yep, still, yeah, every angle. It's like you are literally taking a hammer to the ice sculpture that is the United States, dude. A hammer and a blow dryer, right? Like literally, the U.S. is an ice sculpture, and homie's got a blow dryer and a fucking, you know, and a like fucking pair of crampons. A fucking ice hammer. Like, dude, what are you doing? Oh my God. Just brutal, right? And remember, dude, can we just take a moment to remember like 𝗙ecie𝗶𝗹𝗏 and Cenk Uygur? Remember when Cenk said to Franny, oh, they're not going to put you in camps. Hold on, can we find that clip? I want to find that clip, dude. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Somebody mentioned Cenk Uygur. He's our local populist, right? Here it is. Watch this.
It is concerning that there are so many former TYT employees, and let's put Doran Rubin aside, but people like Ben Dixon and Emma Vigeland, and even longtime contributors who were editors like Hank. I remember Hank, and like the fact that, you know, he helped start the TYT union and now has obviously
nothing.
Okay, but I knew Hank was such a great guy, and Emma and Ben are such. I'm just saying. I'm telling you, these are. But okay, how I'm afraid, man. Like I'm next. Like I don't know what I'm gonna do. That I'm booted out of the castle, and suddenly it's us versus them. And they're so. What does it say about TYT? What does it say about you? That there's so many former employees who are on our side ostensibly, who you have so much disdain for.
Dude, that's not the clip. All right, where is it? Dude, I thought that was the clip, but that's not the clip. Dude, I want the camps clip, bro. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Ready?
You want to have a beer with people who want to put people in mass deportation camps. They want to deport.
You think we're going to get put in camps? You sound all right.
Dude, you think we're going to get put in camps? Boy, that didn't age well. I know. Did you notice like in that clip that we watched, this one, even though it didn't get to the camps thing, but how like condescending and arrogant he was? Every person, Emma, right? Emma, Ben, you know, Hank, everybody he mentioned, Cenk was just like filled with spite and disdain. And like, these are people that had worked for him for years, people that made his fucking channel, bro. And all he had for them was like animosity and spite. And like thinking, like looking down upon them. Bro, I hope, I mean, I hate to be this petty, but I hope to just see Cenk Uygur just fall, right? I want to see him like crash. Dude, I do. I want to see him crash, bro. Dude, I do. I just want to see him like just a complete and utter crash. Was Cenk born here? No, he was not born here, right? He's an immigrant, right? Oh, all right. Oh, shit. Cenk Uygur, dude, he will crack the pavement. He will. Dude, we are... I just can't believe this Greenland shit, man. The smugness. Dude, the smugness, bro. The smugness of Donald Trump. Putin's puppet? Dude, Kimberly, you're not wrong. Dude, you gotta wonder, what does Putin have on him? Dude, look at this, right? Make America go away. Oh my God, dude. That is brilliant. Look at that hat, dude. Make America go away. Love it. Cenk is from Turkey, right? He is from Turkey. Make America go away. Dude, this is crazy. And you know what's so wild about this is like how there's like Greenland and Denmark has essentially said, you know what, guys, like, we welcome you here. Anything you need here for your national security, like, we're cool with it. You know, like, and this is not just Greenland. This is like all across Europe. Every European country has given the United States like carte blanche to occupy and to have a presence there to pursue American interests. Like, they have literally opened their doors to us. And I know a lot of the U.S. want to look at them and be like, oh, we're protecting them. But like, are we really? No. I mean, we're not helping Ukraine. Really? I mean, Trump is like trying to give away fucking Ukraine. He's like, it's obvious he ain't helping. But it wasn't just about defending Europe. It was about having the United States be an international power. Okay, and the United States being a point of leverage in every industry, in every corner of the globe, because of our partnership with Europe. And now Trump just wants to say, like, fuck you. Now I want more, and you guys need to give it to me, or I'm going to take away everything I can. That's his whole thing is if you don't give me what you want, I'm going to start denying you shit and try to make you suffer. Right? Now we know what Trump and Putin were talking about. Putin signed off on this, saying that Trump would go down in history if he could take Greenland. I mean, it really does seem like, Kim, that Trump is trying to get some sort of like conqueror points or whatever. Dude, such bullshit. But the fact of the matter is that we have a ballistic missile detection system there. All right, we're free to build. We've been free to build anything we want since the 50s, right? But the end of the day is Trump wants the minerals, okay? He does. He wants all the natural resources. And I think he's like, I don't know why he's all of a sudden become obsessed with expanding the empire, right? Maybe his buddy Netanyahu, like blowing up Gaza, got him all jacked up or something, right? Thiel wants it. I'm sure that Elon and Peter Thiel and all those guys want it. But dude, the only thing I can feel like, guys, is I feel like if Trump got Greenland, it would actually benefit Vladimir Putin in some way. President of a loaded diaper? Dude, that's such a gross thought. But don't you feel like if Trump got Greenland, like it would somehow turn into a benefit for Vladimir Putin? Like, I feel like it would serve to benefit him in some way. You know? And then what does he say here? Let's see what he says here.
No, I don't care about the Nobel Prize. First of all, a very fine woman felt that I deserved it and really wanted me to have the Nobel Prize, and I appreciate that. If anybody thinks that Norway doesn't control the Nobel Prize, they're just kidding. They have a board, but it's controlled by Norway, and I don't care what Norway says. But I really don't care about that. What I care about is saving lives, and I think I've saved tens of millions of lives.
Dude, I think I have saved tens of millions of lives, dude. Dude, he has no shame, dude. He is like, but he is so petty and so obviously like a clown, right? He is so obviously just a degenerate, pathetic, sad sack, thin-skinned MFer. Right? Yeah, he has no idea what her name is. Machado? I bet you could go ask him what her name is, and he doesn't even know her name. He'll never know her name because he doesn't care about her. She's never going to be president. He's never going to give her shit. He's going to take the medal, and then he's going to probably make her life worse. Okay, literally every time somebody like gives him an inch, he shits all over them. It's like if you do what Trump wants, if Trump asks you for something and you say yes and you give it to him, the next thing you get is a diaper full of shit right in your face, just pressed in. You know what I'm saying? That's what you get. And then as soon as that shit diaper is off your face, he'll hand you a wipe, and the minute you wipe yourself once, another shit diaper comes in. Dude. And then it is just shit diaper after shit diaper after shit diaper. That's it. You never want to give this guy an inch. Ever. He's lucky to remember his name. Indeed he is. Stop the stupidity. Let's go. Grandma lived under Nazi occupation. Norway, not a joke. Let's go. Thank you, Rebirth. He wants the glory. He wants a legacy so bad, a 51st state Nobel Peace Prize legacy of his type of dynastic government. Yeah, I mean, he does. He wants to be known as like a conqueror or some shit because he knows, he knows he's running out of time. Dude, thank you so much, Bethel. He's running out of time, guys. I mean, part of this is the theatrics of the Epstein files. I said it earlier today where I just said that Donald Trump is an Epstein grapist who is looking for a headline. Okay, so he is looking for a headline, but he also wants to have some major notoriety. He wants to do something that nobody has ever done. So obviously he's going to do these outlandish things. You know, John Robinson, thank you, boss. Let's go, dude. 2 away. Dude, stop stupidity coming in hot. Let's go, guys. Appreciate you. He is looking for some kind of notoriety. He is desperate. And I think he knows in November it's over. Although I have seen some delusions. I've seen some delusional thinking from the right wingers saying we're going to win in November. We can win this. Trust me, we're winning this. Dude, I don't see a pathway. Dude, stop stupidity. Let's go. Let's see let's go look at the TYT studio, shall we? Let's go look at the TYT website. Right? And right now it's 78 Dems. Okay? It's not the highest that the Dems have been, right? The highest the Dems have been is 81. So, but it's pretty close. Dude, rough, bro. Dude, Magnolia Girl, let's go. Give that orange blob a Huggies prize. Dude, the shit diaper Razzie coming in hot for Trump. How did we get here and let this go this far? I mean, man, it's a complicated brew. Right? Franny's response to Anna, yeah, well, I don't think we have time for that tonight, but we can look at that at some point. Right? I do want to see that, but it's not on the menu this evening. But so it's a complex brew of things how we got here. Okay? Just the way I look at it, I attribute it to a number of things. I attribute it first and foremost to the group psychosis that we're experiencing like post-pandemic. I think a lot went on in the pandemic where people were isolated and scared and experiencing a shared trauma. And that was a perfect situation for an abuser like Trump to get sink his teeth into the psyche of the country. I mean, abusers are really good at that. And the vehicle, the Project 2025 vehicle, very much they capitalized on the isolation of the pandemic. So there's part of that is I feel like Donald Trump, I'll tell you what it is, guys. It's literally, we've all done it. I hate to say this. I'm going to implicate all of us. DJT is going to demand an Olympic gold medal. He might. But let me just tell you this, okay? Is with this second term, it's like Rebound Girl, okay? If you're in a long relationship or you get into a relationship that's harmful, doesn't even need to be that long. But if you get into a relationship with somebody that is like really harmful and it really fucked you up and you can't even think about the pain you just went through with them, what happens is you break up and then you meet somebody that is filled with red flags. Like you see glaring red flags and you go and date them anyway, and they just make your life a living hell, but you're almost working out the pain of the previous relationship in that new relationship. And then after you get out of that rebound one, you start actually dealing with your problems. I feel like that's Trump term 2, where there was wreckage from him and the pandemic. And then, our caucus got a little weakened by Gaza and a lot of global shit going on. So all of us were in psychic pain. And then we just picked the worst possible answer to punish ourselves and to play out all that torment. And then I think we're going to recover from this, though, and be like, we're really going to get our shit together. Okay, I think we are really going to get our shit together after this. I do. I have a lot of hope. You know what I'm saying? We wouldn't have had the pandemic if but so DPD, you can't say that, okay? Because the whole rest of the world had the pandemic. Like, everybody was affected. I mean, sure, he didn't make it better, but like the whole world was struggling with that. We were going to have that any way, shape, or form. Maybe less people would have died if there had been better leadership. But yeah, I mean, I think we're on a 20-year recovery, right? I think we're on a 20-year recovery from 2020. So we have like 15 years left. Okay. By 2040, we're going to be humming, guys. Trust. Okay. 2040. That's not that long, dude. That's 14 years away. Right. I think in 14 years, we're going to be humming, We're going to be humming, guys. Trust, right? We got to get better leaders in there. We just got to do this. At this point, guys, we just got to, no more Republican, leadership for a while, okay? I mean, we have to commit the country. We have to fucking stick with non-Republicans for 4 terms, 2028, 2032, 2036, and 2040. And if we do that, if we put in 4 Democratic administrations in a row, we're gonna recover from this in a golden way. You'll be dead in 14 years. Come on. I'll be 70, dude. I'll be in the prime of my life, boss. This timeline sucks. It does. FDJT, thank you, Jolie. We just need 4, guys. You definitely won't live that long. Dude, I'm going to live that long. I plan on living to 110. All right? I'm serious. I plan on living to about 110. That's my plan. And now I realize the universe may come in and change my plan, but I think I can live to be about 110. You'll be dead. You're 66 now. No, you won't be dead. You'll be 80, dude. You'll be in your prime, dude. At 80, you could run for president. What are you talking about, dead? Right? At 80, you could be president, dude. Look at the Trump shitter, right? But yeah, man. I think we just sometimes, guys, I don't know if this makes sense to you. But sometimes you just got to go through it. Okay? Sometimes you just got to go through it, guys. You do. You have to go through it. Let's go, Pinky. Let's go. And let me just tell you, as somebody who personally survived a pretty wicked cocaine addiction, I didn't get sober because the last time I went back to cocaine, I just did a little bit and I was fiddling around. I got sober because the last time I went back to cocaine, I went off the rails. All guardrails were broken. And I was careening towards the sun. And that's what got me sober. and I feel like America's about to get sober, bro. Right? America, if we take back the House, and if we win the presidency in 2028, America's gonna fucking get some sobriety, man. We are definitely freebasing. Dude, we are freebasing fascism right now, dude. The fascism pipe is packed, right? You or anyone else took the time to think how many lives have ever been lost with Trump? Yeah, I mean, dude, the thing about that is we know he fucked up COVID. I mean, a lot of people did, but I don't really spend my time thinking about that too much. I don't spend a lot of time waxing about the past. You know, I think for me, I'm more focused on the energy, directing the right kind of energy in the future, guys. Because I'll tell you, like, part of the reason why we got here is because people felt like so frustrated that they just gave up or they just stopped getting involved. Okay? And that, I think, I'm hoping we can just change that. I'm hoping we can stop being people that think, well, there's no reason to get involved because it's all fucked anyway, right? I think, you know, it's like when everything is falling apart and when the whole shit is coming off the rails is when you really have to commit yourself to showing up and riding it out and participating. And that's really important. That, like, doesn't matter if you feel like it's fruitless. Doesn't matter if you feel like there's no hope. You still show up. You roll up your sleeves and you do that next step that you need to do in order to, like, continue moving forward and making change, you know? And I can say, after having survived things like drug addiction and conquered childhood sexual abuse and you know, a lot of other difficult, you know, complicated life situations, I can say that when it gets darkest and when all hope is sort of stripped from you and you get just rocked by shit that you feel like, wow, my core is getting hammered right now, that's when you just start showing up. And if you keep showing up and keep doing a little bit of work and a little bit of work and a little bit of work, and it's not always perfect, and people don't always, you know, you don't always make the right move. Sometimes it's 2 steps forward and a couple steps back, but it fucking gets better. And it gets like, you know, that's how you undo some of that, like, generational damage, is by continuing to show up and fight, you know? And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to doom about it. I mean, we've already seen some good shit. Like, I think Zoran Mamdani won because Trump won. You know, I think if Trump hadn't won, Zoran wouldn't have won. Okay? So that's good, right? That's going to be some evolution. I'm seeing major candidates for office talk about not taking AIPAC money. That's a big win. I mean, sure, there's a lot of shit hitting the fan, but even with the ICE raids, I am torn up by them. But, like, man, I lived in LA in the 90s after the Rodney King shit, and it got pretty grim. Like LA got pretty grim. Like we were, like, psychically wounded, man, in the 90s. LA, there was, like, a lot of racial tension and a lot of, like, hurt people. A lot of, like, the city was just really hurting in the post-Reagan world. And by, like, 98, man, people were fucking, like, having each other's backs again, you know? And so, like, I don't know, man. I just, sometimes you have to get torn apart to sort of, like, rebuild, you know? Like, you can't rebuild until you really get torn apart. And it just sucks, though, because getting torn apart sucks, you know? It sucks, you know? Dude, coming off the crack epidemic, yeah, there was a lot about Reagan that, you know, the crack epidemic, I mean, the you know, closing the mental health facilities. I mean, Reagan just did a lot of destructive shit. But I think I have come back, guys. Me personally, I have come back as a phoenix from a lot of, like, ashes where it looked like I was never going to get, like, a good life back. And I've done that, like, several times over. And so I believe that America can do it too. And I, you know, that's part of the reason why I became a political streamer, I guess, to try and throw my hat in the ring and to be a part of that revolution, because I believe it is possible. I know it's possible. I've done it. I've done it, like, multiple times. You know, it's like I in fact, I mean, Jenny and I were having a discussion earlier today about something, and I'm not going to go into our discussion, but let me just tell you. So there are certain things that like open up the dark side, right? Like she became a psilocybin facilitator, and she also took training in MDMA facilitation. And those two healing processes are very different. Like MDMA is, when you do that therapeutically, it's much more like joyous and opening and connecting. But when you use psilocybin as a therapy, it can really open up the dark side, okay? Like real dark. And like with me, with my drug addiction, I was a big time drug addict and alcoholic. I don't condone this behavior, but it really opened up my dark side. And the thing about this, guys, is a lot of people, especially here in America, they don't want to look at the dark side. They're like, man, forget about the dark side. Just give me the light side. But I am telling you guys, when you open up that dark side and take a real hard look and just take it in, you are better off for it. You are stronger. You are more empathetic. You are more resilient. You are more aware. You are less likely to repeat negative patterns. And I feel like we are actually approaching the end of a civil rights journey that started with the 60s and the 50s integrating the schools. And we're now in the final chapter of that, cleaning up some of these degenerate racists like Trump and Stephen Miller and his administration, corrupt fucking white nationalist motherfuckers. And it's going to be another 50 years of like slugging through this shit. But I think we're really getting an eye on this. And I think it's going to be good for the future. I think it's going to be like a good evolution. And I'm telling you right now, though, guys, it's not going to be fixed by one president. Okay? Don't think that one president's going to win in 2028 and 2 years later it's all going to be fixed. Like it's like a 50-year cycle we're starting right now, guys. It's going to be 50 years. Your kids are going to be finishing this job, you know, and we have to like be realistic about that time path that, you know, I mean, like right now I look at my life and my life is so fucking amazing right now, guys, but it's been 50 years, guys. I'm 56. I got, you know, SA'd when I was like 6 years old was the start of my trauma. I have been 50 years like working on healing and improving my life. And my life is awesome now, but it didn't happen in 5 years. It happened in 50, okay? And so like we need to be more realistic. We keep thinking like, oh, the next president, oh, that didn't work, so we're going to pick a Republican. Oh, that didn't work, we're going to pick a Democrat. It's like, no, man, we got to lock in and commit for like a long-term period of change instead of just flitting around and like, oh, we didn't get fixed this year. Fuck it. We're going to fucking flip the house again, you know? But, you know, that's how I feel, right? Yeah. And so the Kim though is like the I think racism is always going to exist, but like that doesn't matter, right? Like alcoholism, okay? I've been sober. I'm coming up on 19 years sober, guys. My alcoholism is still here, okay? I'm just not using, right? But my alcoholism is still there. And so racism isn't going to disappear, but it doesn't also have to be the operative force that's driving the bus. There's a difference, okay? Like, you know, that the thing is racism's not going to go away, but also racism doesn't have to be the operative force. And I think that is actually like hugely lessening and will even more so after like more enlightenment a little further down the road, right? And so, you know, my alcoholism's going to be with me for life, but that doesn't mean I need to be a functioning alcoholic. You know, I can be a sober alcoholic and we can be empathetic, anti-racist societies that are grappling with racism instead of racist, you know, authoritarian societies that are like denying racism, right? There are degrees of how racism fits into the pie. And we've never really like revolutionarily changed some of our structural things, right? We ended slavery and we forced an end to segregation, but we never really dismantled some of the structure that is underneath those systems. And so I think Trump destroying shit may allow us to have new systems rise up. You know what I'm saying? But I think what's more problematic is that wealth distribution. Like at some point, guys, we got to get a handle on the wealth distribution because the resources, did you see this thing? Did you see this, guys? Look at this shit. You ready? This is going to blow your mind, this chart. But look at this, guys. Look at that. You ready? Look at the wealth of the top 0.00001%. 12%, right? You know how many people this is, guys? You know how many people own 12% of our fucking of our wealth in America, the national income in America? 34. That is 34 people. 34. There's 330 million Americans, and 34 of them control 12% of the national income, right? That's crazy, boss. Think about that. Think about the psychology of that. Think about how many people have to like feel like they're never going to have anything in order for 34 people to control 12% of the entire U.S. national income. That's insane. America Ended Terrorism, Volume 5, The Resurrection. Let's go, Tony. Dude, that's crazy. But look at that. I mean, you can see the burst, right? I mean, here was the Bush War, and then the financial crash happened right around the bottom of this, and then it exploded, and then it dropped in the pandemic, and it exploded again, right? It's like the concentrating into a small number of people, and then they're concentrating the power, and then the concentrated power is like, just stymieing the rest of us. So we are going to have to figure that out. And I wish I had an answer, but I will say this though, guys. I have conquered a great many things by just believing I can. Okay. This isn't the beginning, but the end of the shit we've had. We're at the end of the past 50 years since the CRM and Panthers, Civil Rights Movement, Panthers. The post-Reconstruction fight was early 1900s. Civil Rights Movement began 50 years later. Yeah, no, absolutely. Dude, Fuller, I agree with you, right? You're right. This is like a closing chapter. That's just it, guys. Remember how we talked yesterday about the sine wave, about that Buddhist concept that there's only two states, guys. Either everything's coming together or everything's falling apart, okay? And they're like 100-year cycles, okay? You had the pandemic, the natural clearing of the universe, whatever, Spanish flu in the 1920s. Then roughly 50 years later, 1970, 1964, you had the Civil Rights Movement, the forced desegregation, integration, women abortion rights. And then 50 years later, 2020, we have another pandemic and the return of racism. But like the 100-year cycle of civil rights started in 1964, and we're only halfway through that 100 years. So we're on the back nine of like fighting that liberation for the black people and the, people of color and the, the marginalized here in America. So we're at a midpoint. So of course we're dealing with Trump and McConnell and these Confederates and these white nationalists. Of course we are, because they have we forced desegregation and integration and they started fighting, and now they've gained a little power at the midpoint, but we're going to hit that point of no return, that all is lost moment halfway between now and the next 50 years where it all goes to shit. And then a better world's going to come out of it, And I believe in it. You know what I'm saying? I believe in it. And Trump equals Pinochet. Let's go, Tony. And so I'm not really like, I'm a sine wave guy, okay? That's what I am. It's not really about numbers, but I am a sine wave guy who like, I recognize that like life happens in waves. My emotions happen in waves. My depression and my happiness happen in waves. My feeling confident and insecure happen in waves. So like when I'm at the bottom of that wave, I don't get too panicked and I don't get too freaked out because I just know that it's the bottom of that wave and that like pretty soon it's going to come together again. You know what I'm saying? That is kind of like how I roll, is just an understanding that bottoming out is not a finish line. It's a midpoint, you know? And I've lived it over and over and over again, from like abusive household and you know, conquering like the you know, the childhood essay and the addiction and, you know, picking bad relationships and through healing journey, being a parent. It's like, I just know it. And I mean, we get taught this in science that, you know, that like everything is waves. You know, energy is waves, right? That, you know, you got gamma waves, you got fucking, you know, light waves, sound waves. Everything travels that sort of wavy, or it could be sawtooth. I mean, the shape of them are very different, but they're all about that, those two states of being where everything's coming together and then you peak and then everything starts falling apart and then you bottom out and then everything's coming together and then everything's falling apart. And like, dude, I'm telling you, when you know, I don't want to sound crazy metaphysical here because I realize everyone's on their own journey. You may be an atheist, you may be believing in some kind of deity, but like, I was a surfer, okay? I was a surfer, guys. And one of the things you learn from being a surfer is as long as you get out on your board and you sit out there on the ocean, eventually the waves come in, guys. And it could be an hour, it could be a day, it could be a week. And while you're out there, you're in nature, man. You're analyzing your life. You're like pouring through memories. You're having like meditative moments with the sun, with the water, sometimes with dolphins. You're like in the ocean of life. And the thing is the waves are gonna find you. You don't have to stress out about it. The waves will find you. And like, I just look at life like that too, that all of this shit is like, we don't have to like, I mean, you don't want to be stupid and you don't want to ignore your environment, right? If there's a shark out there, you're not going to go fucking cut your arm, put your arm in the water. You know what I'm saying? But the point being is as long as you take care of your awareness and you take care of your inner fucking sanctum and keep that healthy and functioning at a high level, and you vibrate from a high vibrational energy of like seeking and attraction, and you don't get too into like dooming and harming yourself with negative energy, like, man, the good shit just, it'll find you. You just have to be out in the ocean waiting for the waves, man. You just got to put yourself out there. And, you know, I feel like when you find a way to like approach life like a wavelength that you're riding, if you can find a way to work that into your system, you're going to find there's a lot more hope. Even in your bottom moments, there's hope in there. There's like, you know, there can be a lot of like hope and energy for renewal when you hit those bottom points. Because when everything falls apart and all is lost, that's when you get to rebuild like brand new, guys. You get to reinvent in a really powerful way that is different than when one fucking piece of wood gets torn off the structure. You just replace that one wood. But when all the wood is gone, you get to change the entire look of that structure. So that I'm hopeful and feel, I don't know, I feel empowered. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we have a once in a lifetime, once in a generational opportunity for some really, truly spectacular change. It's just, it's not going to happen in 4 years, guys. It's going to happen in 40, okay? You are 61. You wish I was your little brother? Let's go. Dude, I'm telling you guys, just stick with me, bro. We'll go get out on our boards in the ocean and we will catch the waves, boss. We will catch the waves. We got this, bro. But I do have to quote 𝗪𝗡𝗀𝗃 though. You ready? I do have to quote 𝗪𝗡𝗃 from the Big Lebowski. And that is, you are entering a world of pain though. I mean, guys, that is an unfortunate thing that we are entering a world of pain, guys. Like, it is true. All right, we are entering a world of pain. Like, it's not going to be pain-free, unfortunately. You know? I mean, I wish I could say, like, all the joy I just shared with you, like, it doesn't come without fucking tasting the pain, you know? It's true. You gotta get used to tasting the pain. Dude, Canadians here don't want to fight you all at all. Let's go, Tony! We don't want to fight you either. And Fuller said, although, don't forget, NAACP was founded in 1909. They protested birth of a nation in 1915, so that was over 100 years ago. We're due for a massive sea change and reinvention. Well, yeah, that's interesting. That means maybe the NAACP was to Obama getting elected in 2008, 100 years. The pandemic was from 22 to 20, Spanish flu and COVID, and the civil rights movement was from 1964 to 2064. Again, there's going to be multiple sine waves. It's not just one. There's always going to be multiple sine waves in action at any given time. And that's not even counting women's suffrage, okay? Right? Women's suffrage was going on, and you know, there's that timeline, and you know, I don't know, we have this fucking, you know, we had the Me Too movement, which fucking kicked in. There's like a lot of shit going on, boss. But you know, I say this. I say just taste the pain and fucking thank you, Fuller. We appreciate you, boss. And we're going to build this shit. You know what I'm saying? We're going to fucking build this shit. Oh, dude, it won't let me leave a fucking comment. I'm too late to leave a comment on that first one. My bad. Dude, we got it. Right? You lived through a 1-ton generator smashing you. Fuck, bro. That's crazy. Women vote gave America prohibition. Happy MLK Day. Dude, I like MLK Day. Right? Have y'all heard his speech protesting the Vietnam War? Then he died speaking in support of maintenance workers' wages. Brave man. It's difficult to change a paradigm. 20 years at least. Good luck to us. Yeah, no, dude. Tony Sled, like fucking, yeah, dude, MLK, he had some cool shit. You know what I saw today that was crazy? Was Spurs, let's go, was this. Let me show you guys. So there's an account I follow on Instagram that like is like the band was here. Do you guys know about this account? It's really cool. There's an account on Instagram called The Band Was Here. Did I miss one from Canada? Let me go find that. Oh, I did, dude. That was another Fuller. No, I read that one. I actually read that one. I just didn't give the signal, but thank you for the heads up on that. And I did get Tony's too. So yeah, no, we're caught up. We're caught up. I got his MLK one. We're good. Thank you. But anyway, so guys, let me show you something real quick. All right, because I think this is important and maybe you'll find this helpful. But there's an account on Instagram called The Band Was Here. Okay, and what this account is this account, let me show you. This guy recreates like album covers, okay? Like what he does is he goes to the location from the picture and he holds up the picture to the location. So you see what the location looks now, right? There's Elvis. See how it matches to the house, right? He's got this picture of Elvis at Graceland and he lines up the photograph with the actual real place. And then he drops his hand and you see the real place. And so he did one for fucking MLK, dude. That like, dude, I saw this today. This was the motel where he died, guys. You know what I'm saying? Where the fucking, I saw this today and it fucking wrecked me. You know what I'm saying? Because the thing about it is you don't, it's the Lorraine Motel in Memphis. You don't know how you're going to go out. Okay. And you don't know how you're going to like, what's going to come of your work, right? Like you don't know the work you do when you go out there and you try to make the world a better place. You don't know who it's going to touch. You don't know how far it's going to reach. You don't always even know the people that are being reached the most by it, right? You have no idea really. You just do your work and at some point you end and then your legacy carries on, whether it's a legacy of like Martin Luther King's legacy, or it could be a legacy of like my parents who left me with a debilitating alcoholism and drug addiction and a family history of like domestic violence and SA. But like they ended and I carried on and I continued my work of like healing that shit and affecting people in my life while I did it. And in a weird way, we're all kind of like MLK because we all are having these massive influences on the world. And maybe it's not being publicized like his is, right? But like, you don't know your smile that you share with somebody at the post office could be saving a life halfway around the world, man. It's like we all have this profound impact. There is like such a reason for us to continue like showing up and putting good healing energy into the world. And like, dude, when I saw this, it just fucking wrecked me. But like, watch this one, man. Right? Isn't that fucking wild? And then of course, that's where it was. But dude, yeah, I saw that, dude, right there. Crazy. It's just crazy shit, man. You know, it's just crazy shit. And the last thing I want to say, guys, is about karma. Okay? And we've talked a little bit about karma, and I want to end on this little whatever MLK journey, this philosophical journey about karma, because America like distorts karma. Okay? Karma is a concept that comes from like Hinduism, and it comes from Buddhism. It comes from these religions or philosophies that believe in multiple lives. But like, guys, the American distortion of karma has been do good to get good, right? Like, oh, something bad happens. Oh, I guess I did something bad. Or, you know, oh, if I do really good here, good things are going to happen. But like, karma's not like that. Okay? Karma isn't really like what goes around comes around. That's kind of the American version of karma. What karma is you never stop doing the good. Okay? It's doing good with no expectation of being paid back. It means that no matter how bad my life gets, no matter how much I eat shit or get abused or get pissed on or get taken advantage of, I am going to show up and do the right thing, do the honorable thing, do the good investment of positive energy, of healing and change, even if it blows up in my fucking face. I will never stop showing up and seeking harmony and having like this integrity of healing energy and putting my positive hope out into the world, even if I never get anything but hurt from it. That is what karma is. Okay. And that is, you know, and you do it to sort of like equalize the hurt that you've done. But it is about living that way without needing a payoff. Okay. It's like karma is about establishing yourself without the payoff, where you just do it. And it ties into that shit I talked about with like my dad, right? Where my dad would say like, you're lazy because I didn't want to go work a job that earned money, but I would work really hard at shit that made me feel connected and like I was doing something artistic for the world. And I didn't need to get paid. I would go do it for free. And if money came, money came. And if money didn't come, money didn't come. But it never changed my passion for the thing I was creating, because it's not about the money. It's not about needing a reward. It's about doing that work of hope and change and healing and fucking connection and shit. You know what I'm saying? So like I think, you know, there's a humility and there's a sense of like honor in like separating from a payoff. And part of the reason why I'm talking about this is thinking about the next 20 years of cleaning up after the Donald Trump mess and all the other fighting we're going to have to do with these Christian nationalists that are trying to control the world is like, I really want to see us put in the work without worrying about the payoff and with worrying more about our own personal investment in healing the country. And not be worried so much about if it pays off for us or not, but like, you know, like given about future generations. And that's kind of what I want to focus on in my back nine, because I don't know about you guys, but for me, most of my life, I felt fairly invincible. Like when I was 20, I did a lot of crazy shit and I just never felt like I was close to death. I felt like I was going to live forever. And now I don't feel close to death at all. I still feel like vital and alive and shit. But I do notice that, like, I notice that I'm on the other side of the hill. Like, whereas I was consistently going up and like never even seeing or being near death. Now I recognize like, oh shit, I went over the hill. I'm on the way down. Like somewhere up in front of me is death. Like I'm in the neighborhood of it. You know, and it could be 20 years or 40 years, but I can sense like when I was going up until about 53, I didn't really even notice it. And then right around the 50s, people my age started dying. And then all of a sudden I'm like, whoa, actually I sort of hear it out there. I can hear the voice of it singing. And so I've had a pretty reflective, you know, sort of like, what do I want to do with this time period as I approach that voice and it gets louder and louder? Do I want to selfishly like garble up things, or do I want to get obsessed with money and power, or do I want to like, you know, take some of my healing lessons like to the world and try to invest in some hope? I don't know. It's just, I've had a different outlook, like where I feel like it's not about me so much anymore, you know? And like, I don't know. I'm pretty hopeful, actually, despite all this. I'm pretty hopeful. And that doesn't mean I'm not angry. That doesn't mean I'm not fucking livid at times. And that doesn't mean I'm not horrified at our opponent. But I'm hopeful. I think we're gonna be okay, dude. The kids are all right, boss. All right. But yeah, dude, I saw this earlier today and it kind of wrecked me, dude. It really did. It really kind of wrecked me, man. You know, because like, dude, we hear all day about Americans like, oh, the price of gas. Americans are like, dude, I want gas to be 50 cents cheaper. But like, bro, people give their lives, right? People give their lives for like the fight, boss. You know what I'm saying? Like people die trying to affect positive change. And some people die trying to affect negative change. But like, I don't know, man. You know? Hope is a work in progress. Always. Dude, always. You always, like, you know, I think for me, my relationship with hope is like like Hope is like a girlfriend that I've had my whole life, that sometimes we're getting along and sometimes it is great. And sometimes I'm sleeping on the couch and she's mad as hell at me and I can't even get in the same room with her. Right. But it's like a committed relationship. Like I have committed myself to be in a long-term relationship with Hope, and I'm never going to break up. Even when I feel like she's not speaking to me, she's moved out, I know that she'll be back and I will find her again. And I have to just, keep focusing on that karma of not needing the thing. You know what I'm saying? Not needing the thing. Cars with better fuel efficiency. I mean, yeah. So Dustin, the thing about it is people that have a brain do support those things, right? I have a hybrid. Like people, it's only people that don't care about shit, that have a sense of entitlement and want to consume all the resources, right? They're the ones who are like, no, you got to make yourself cheaper. I'm not going to bend for you. But those people, the same people that don't buy hybrid cars, are the ones who won't wear a mask during the pandemic, right? You know what I mean? Like, because some people just don't want to do good for others, right? Dude. But yeah, man, this shit is good, dude. All right, moving on. Next up, I'm done with Greenland. We had our little bit of philosophical there, which is important. All right, now we're moving on. Dude, this chart, though, guys, this shit is fucked up, bro. This chart is fucked up. Dude, I've been killing it on Twitter, though. I've been loving Twitter. All right, what do we got? We have the Trump Greenland meltdown. All right, let's look at the Michael Cohen stuff. All right, and then we'll look at a little bit of the Don Lemon, right? Because the GOP is bottoming out. They are definitely bottoming them out. Yeah, no, that chart is so bad. So let's look at Michael Cohen. All right. Dude, has MeidasTouch talked about Michael Cohen? Have they made an actual statement? Or I love that he lost his fucking dude, I love it. Dude, political beatdown. Dude, right? Oh shit. Dude, I mean, at least they fucking cut ties with him. Now, I'm gonna say this. Listen to me, guys. I am going to say this. I've said it before that I totally understand like them, wanting access and using Michael Cohen for Trump access. I personally would not have given him a channel, and I would have not given him the same amount of space that they gave him, because even though we got access from Michael Cohen, and even though it was nice to have him hear the stories, at his core, he's a fucking liar, and he was complicit, and he was a fucking, a body barrier for Trump for a long fucking time, man. So, like, I don't know. I mean, I can totally understand them, having worked with him or whatever, had him on their shows. I don't think they should have really given him the size of the voice they gave him, because guys, he was ruined. He went to jail. He was tarnished, and they kind of helped build him up. And now he's going to go back and be on the corruption side again, because they helped him get his feet back. Right. But whatevs, you know what I'm saying? You live and learn. I mean, if anything, Midas, he helped them grow too. Okay. But yeah, he's always a scumbag. But so let's fucking see what we got on him. All right. Let's go look at him for a little bit. Dude, he was a fixer, bro. Oops. All right. So this is, all right. let's see what his fucking response is here. Now he's got the Michael Cohen show, right? Dude, what a dumper, bro. Let's find, did he actually, let me ask you this. All right, so those of you who have followed this, Trump burns through associates, he entices to, indeed. I mean, and let me just tell you this, guys. Let me just tell you this. Anybody who's gonna get deeply attached to Donald Trump is the type of person that will eventually go back to him. Does that make sense? Like abusers, and they hang out with other abusers, okay? And so Cohen is, I'm sure he's in the Epstein files. I'm sure he knows a bunch of shit in the Epstein files. He was covering this shit for a long time, and abusers hang out with abusers. And so eventually they're going to go back with one another, and it doesn't matter what they say. I mean, look at J.D. Vance, right? J.D. Vance was the biggest negative Trump. He was like, fuck Trump. I'm so over Trump. And now J.D. Vance is sniffing the fucking chair, bro. And right? I mean, these guys, these abuser, power-hungry people, they have no scruples. They don't care if you fuck them over. They're all completely transactional. And they will like hang out with their own biggest enemy if it's going to profit them, okay? And they will just like watch their back and shit. But what I'm wondering is was there a verbal announcement of him about going to Trump, or was it just the news article? Okay, let's find the fucking, let's go to the Times. And was it just a news article? Did they not pick it up? All right, let me see here. I thought sure the Times would pick it up, but I know it wasn't their scoop. Dude, it's so weird that this is not pinging. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, dude, it's showing up all... Really? Dude, what is this, bro? Oh, I spelled it wrong. But, dude, that's weird that, like, Google... How is Google not responding to that misspelling? Isn't that insane? That Google was... Like, Google never used to do that, man. They're trying to force us to use their fucking AI too, guys. No, it's like they're trying to force you to use AI. Dude, Tim Dillon, comedian, had a segment about a party at Mar-a-Lago with dog masks, like an Erica Kirk-sponsored event. Yeah, no, we were supposed to look at that the other day, and we fell behind. That was the Humane Society thing or whatever, Tony. Right? It was even on the thumbnail, but we ran out of time. All right, so yeah, we'll look at the Fox story, I guess. Here. We're going to have to fucking kill the ad blocker. Hold on. Fox News is the worst. Yeah, dude, thank you, Fox. I know how to fucking kill the ad blocker. You dumb fuckers. All right. All right, so here's our story. Dude, Fox is the worst, bro. Dude, hold on. Give me a sec. I'm gonna pull it up in a different browser. Dude, Fox is so bad, dude. Like Fox and Google and ad blockers, they're just miserable. Whenever I have ad blocker shit, I go to I use Microsoft Edge. All right, here we go. Dude, they're all trying to force us to use their shit fucking browsers. All right, here we go. Dude. All right. There it is. All right, so Michael Cohen says New York prosecutors pressured and coerced him. Right? Dude, I mean, just reading this, it seems like bullshit, doesn't it? Doesn't it seem like bullshit? Right? Michael Cohen says New York prosecutors pressured and coerced him into anti-Trump testimony. Yeah, they pressured and coerced him so much that he went anti-Trump for like years, right? He had an entire podcast aligned with left-wing media for like 4 years because he was so pressured and coerced. Dude, what a fucking dink, bro. You know what I mean? Like, what a dink. I am serious. What a dink. Okay, President Trump's former personal lawyer and fixer, Michael Cohen, said Friday, prosecutors in both the Manhattan DA's office and the New York Attorney General's office pressured and coerced him into delivering testimony tailored to securing convictions against Trump. Now, guys, you know, I'm telling you, I can't help but feel like part of this is because he knows that it's gonna be SDNY that is gonna come out with the shit about Epstein, right? Doesn't it feel like he is trying to damage the credibility of SDNY because he knows the stew is cooking? He does. He knows the stew is cooking. And yeah, he's making an appeal to Trump, and he knows that like it is the New York, the center of the case. Okay, the center of the case, guys, moved to New York. All right. If you look at Epstein, what happened with Epstein, guys, it was a three-pronged beast. Okay. The investigation started in Palm Beach. Palm Beach police, they had 40-some victims. The DA scrubbed it. Okay. They let him off. The cops went to the FBI. 𝗙ecie𝗶𝗶 came in and they just made the whole thing go away. Gave him lifetime immunity, right? Well, what happened is the victims sued that their rights were violated. Okay. There is a victims' rights law, and they sued saying, you know what? That deal, without talking to the victims, violated the victims' rights, and it broke this law, and they won. And so that nullified that non-prosecution agreement, and then it was New York is the ones that prosecuted him in order to convict Ghislaine, and they're the ones who were prosecuting him before he like offed himself or died, right? Or was offed, whatever happened, right? So New York is the center of this thing. Like Southern District, New York is the epicenter of this case. And I don't know, it just feels like he is trying to politically sort of come out and say, oh, yeah, these guys, you can't trust them, man. They're coercing anti-Trump stuff, you know? And I mean, it's just, we know something's coming. The bomb is out there, guys. The bomb is out there. Cohen was a key prosecution witness in 2 New York cases against Trump, accused 𝗙ecie James and Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg pursuing evidence aimed at Trump, saying prosecutors were uninterested in testimony that didn't fit their narrative. Now, again, though, guys, you ready for this? This is kind of a dumb statement, okay? Because look at this statement, guys. Like he says that they were pursuing evidence aimed at Trump, uninterested in testimony that didn't fit their narrative. But like, yeah, no shit, dumbass. If you're prosecuting a case, you're not looking for evidence that doesn't fit your narrative. That's the whole point of prosecuting your case. Dude, that's literally what lawyers do. You collect all the evidence that fits your narrative, and then you try to convince a jury of it. Like, that's the dumbest statement I have ever read in my life. So he's basically saying they were being good lawyers, right? Oh, thank you. I felt pressured and coerced to only provide information and testimony that would satisfy the government's desire to build the cases against and secure a judgment and convictions against President Trump. Oh, he wrote it on Substack. Okay, I see. Fox Digital has reached out to the SDNY or to the New York State Attorney General. Sorry. They reached out to State Attorney General Manhattan DA. Cohen, who was Trump's personal lawyer, said he was writing as a federal appeals court considers the president's request to move his hush money case to federal court for further review. And again, I wish they'd stop calling it hush money because it was really about business forgery is what that was. It's like business fraud is what his case was. It was not hush money. The hush money was not the problem. The problem was him committing fraud to win an election. You right? You're making rendang? All right. I don't know what that is, but is it good? And yeah, no, I'd like to get a link to the Midas statement. All right. So he was the former Trump fixer testified in a civil case, all right, where Trump was found liable for inflating his assets for favorable loans. He also took the stand in the Bragg case. That was the 34 counts of falsifying business records, the business fraud. Cohen accused both James and Bragg of using their high-profile cases to elevate their careers, claiming they saw credit as officials took down Trump. So, dude, this whole statement is just him being a fucking clown, bro. They blurred the line between justice and politics. Oh, shut up, dude. And in that blur, the credibility of both suffered. See? He's going after their credibility, right? He is going after their credibility. Cohen, it's Indonesian? Nice. Let's go. Beef coconut curry? Dude, it sounds awesome. Cohen said that both before and during the trials, prosecutors made it clear they were only interested in testimony from him that would convict Trump. Okay, when my testimony was insufficient for a point the prosecution sought to make, they asked inappropriate leading questions to elicit answers that supported their narrative. That's bullshit. Because if you knew they were doing that, you didn't have to give them the answers then. Cohen pleaded guilty to several crimes, tax evasion, campaign finance violations, lying to Congress, described cooperating with authorities while incarcerated, saying he sought sentence relief, felt compelled to provide testimony fitting prosecutors' narratives. So, I mean, dude, none of this is on them. If anything, Cohen is saying, yeah, when I was in the clink, I decided to give them fucking shit that would give me favorable benefits. So he's saying I lied to fucking get out of jail is essentially what he's saying. But like, dude, they were taking him at his word. I mean, there's nothing wrong with them wanting information. You may reasonably ask why I'm speaking out now. The answer is simple. I've witnessed firsthand the damage done when prosecutors pick their target first, seek evidence to fit a predetermined narrative, while noting he was not writing in defense of Trump. Dude, what a bullshit artist. Okay? Dude, this guy is a bullshit artist. Okay? What a bullshit artist, man. You know what I'm saying? Like this sentence right here. Oh, I have firsthand witnessed the damage when they pick their target. Come on, bro. Like Trump is picking all these targets now with no evidence. Dude, look at what Trump did today, guys. Can I show you what Trump did today? Look at this. I mean, you know this. I'm sure you saw this. But just today, man, like you want to talk about targets and targets of like having whatever, picking your target. But look at this shit. I saw this today, dude, and I was livid. Okay? I was livid when I saw this. I'll take you. I have a reply here. But it was this statement right here. It was an official White House statement. This. All right, you ready? This is the White House. Okay? The President of the United States on the official White House account, okay, posted this. In Minnesota, there is too much media attention on ICE, who have removed some of the worst murderers and criminals in the world, people let into our country by crooked Joe Biden's horrendous open border policy. Blah. I mean, how many lies can you tell? And not enough attention paid to the staggering sums of money stolen from the state by corrupt Minnesota politicians. Read that again. And not enough attention paid to the staggering sums of money stolen from the state by corrupt Minnesota politicians. On the official White House account, the President of the United States is leveraging this claim. He's not bringing name because he doesn't want a defamation suit. So he's being very careful about the wording here to not name Tim Walz, to not name, Ilhan Omar, and not name Jacob Fry, because that would be a huge, expose him to defamation, which would be complicated, of course, because he's president. But he's even being careful with his wording, but he's claiming that billions were stolen by politicians in Minnesota, and they have no evidence, guys. They have not a shred of evidence, not even a droplet of evidence that any of the politicians in Minnesota stole money that had anything to do with these fucking daycares or whatever. I mean, Medicare fraud's been going on for fucking 50 years, dude. Rick Scott, the senator from Florida, was the biggest Medicare fraudster out there that we've ever known, right? But it is astonishing that the official White House account is making claims with presumptions of guilt about sitting politicians with zero evidence. And so referring to Cohen saying, having a target and then building a narrative, this is literally what Trump is doing right here. Trump has a target of Tim Walz. He has a target of Jacob Fry. He has a target of Ilhan Omar. He has a target of Minnesota government. And they have no evidence whatsoever, right? And it's just brazen. It is so brazen and so out of pocket. And so, you know what I mean? And now what's going to happen is via this official White House statement, all of the right-wing influencers then take whatever he tweets about and they treat it as true fact. Once Trump puts it on Twitter, it means it is now a verified fact, which we all know means it is simply just bullshit. But dude, this is wild. We are, and they're all doing this. 19 billion in fraud, 9 billion in fraud. They're running around. Tim Walz knew. Ilhan Omar's got rich off of this. They're doing nothing but leveraging, it's the right-wing cycle. Trump says something. All the right-wing accounts parrot it, right? They all parrot it as though it was like absolute, okay? And then what they do is they parrot it so as though it's absolute. And then what they do is then they complain that nobody gets arrested. You know what I'm saying? That they complain about nobody getting arrested. But guys, so the thing about this though, guys, is I encourage you to not use things like Brave on YouTube, or don't use it when you're watching me, because ads are how we stay afloat. So I don't use things that kill YouTube ads. I pay for YouTube Premium for my whole family because I want to support the creators that I am watching. You know what I'm saying? So I encourage you guys to support your favorite creators and use that shit when you're watching people you don't like, right? When you're watching right-wingers, use that shit. But when you're watching creators you like, I suggest you take the ads because it really does help them, So that's my suggestion. But I pay for YouTube Premium because that pays your favorite creators, right? That's another way of going about it. You get premium. And for my whole family, it's $23 a month. And then we all are ad-free. But you know what I'm saying? It sucks during lives. No, I get it. I know it probably sucks during lives. I totally get it. But that's, it is how we make a living. You know what I'm saying? But I get it. I know ads are shitty. I know ads are shitty. During lives, it does suck, right? Because it doesn't catch you up. Then you're behind the chat or whatever. But yeah, dude, this is wild, right? This shit is craziness, okay? Like Trump's entire ethos is, looking for a target. But all right, let's go look at Midas's response, okay? Oh, dude, I already looked at this, boss. We already had that, Bradshaw. Thank you. I thought there was a verbal response. But Midas Touch did reply saying, programming note, Midas Touch Network will no longer be producing or carrying the show's Political Beatdown or Mea Culpa with Michael Cohen. All right. And then now Michael Cohen has made a statement about this. Let's see what this fucking degenerate said. All right. Dude, this guy is such a degen.
And welcome back to the Michael Cohen Show on our continued journey to 1 million subscribers.
On our continued journey to 1 million subscribers, on a journey that you only have because of Midas Touch, you degenerate shitter. Dude, what a degenerate.
Now look, as you all know, a lot has changed over the course of this weekend, and I do want to address it all.
Dude, he is such a degenerate. He is a degenerate, right? What a degenerate. I'm not going to watch much of this. I'm giving him 2 minutes and then I am out because I'm not going to help him get his fucking million, bro.
Including actually a reversal in our momentum, in our journey to the 1 million subscribers. And what started it all? Well, apparently it's a post that I put out on Friday. A post that was personal to me.
Oh, shut up, dude.
For me.
Personal to him.
And about me.
Yeah, it was personal to me, for me, and about me, and that's why I put it out on my Substack, right? Right? Look at his face, dude. I'm screenshotting this, bro. It was so personal to me and for me and about me that I put it in the most public place possible. Dude, what a degen, dude. Dude, what a scoundrel. And like, he looks like he's using a fucking $2 camera. Like, bro, you have all the money in the world, boss. You really can't you get a webcam that makes you look like you're not, on a $2 film set? Like, can you get a decent webcam? Like, spend $200, bro. Get a camera, dude. Like, what the hell, boss? I'm even on HD. Right? We're even on super premium HD, and he looks like he looks like we're watching him film on an old Android phone, dude. Dude, is this a green screen? What are we doing, boss? They're all degens.
To those of you who have been following this journey, I have talked about and I have criticized the DOJ. I have criticized Tish James. I have criticized Alvin Bragg. I have criticized what I refer to as the Department of Injustice.
Oh, yeah.
And when I wrote that post, I felt pressured and coerced. That's how I felt. Now, those words, they appear to have caused an avalanche of comments that are being hurled my way.
Dude, yeah, good. You're going to get more comments your way. Dude, he is perturbed, bro. You know what's funny is the way he's reacting here. I think he thought like nobody was going to make a big deal about this, right? He seems a little like bent. Dude, I don't trust him at all, dude. He's a scoundrel. He's a scoundrel.
Some thanking me for speaking up because they too have seen the Department of Injustice in action, and others with some of the most vile, disgusting comments that I think I have received so far. And that says a lot.
Dude.
People have used my post for many reasons, mostly selfish ones. But it's all personal feelings for me. You see, I never intended my words to come across as being helpful for Trump. My trauma, my anguish,
My trauma.
as I talk about in my Substack.
Dude, his trauma of like, dude, I hate to break it to you, Michael Cohen. Let me just tell you, I can't speak on your trauma because obviously your experience is your experience, but your trauma, buddy, is rooted in you being a fixer prick for a completely rogue, degenerate, corrupt, rapist, Epstein bestie. Okay, you covered for that guy. You buried the bodies. You hid the evidence. You pressured the women. You like browbeat the honest people while that man took advantage of them. Your trauma is self-inflicted, buddy. It's not about Alvin Bragg or Tish James. Your trauma is about you being a degenerate. You having dirty hands, boss. Dirty money, dirty hands. You being a contemptible criminal accessory for decades. And the minute you like paid any price for it, now like, oh, your trauma. Like, screw you, man. I want to more like the trauma of all the women you browbeated out of dropping lawsuits or criminal charges against the rapists you fucking fixed for. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, the ethical fixer. He's the ethical fixer. He's acting like, oh, yeah, no, I was the Buddhist fixer for Donald Trump. I was like the Zen fixer. Like, fuck off, bro. You're dirty. Like, you're lucky you didn't go to jail for 20 fucking years, right? You only went to jail for like misrepresenting to Congress and for, fudging on like campaign shit. You should have gone to jail for like burying all the bodies. It's a real bad look for МeidasTouch. I mean, it is. The moral maker, let's go. It is. I mean, МeidasTouch, though, should have never trusted him in the first place. They shouldn't have. But I think МeidasTouch is legit enough to be able to weather it. Because, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. They gave him access, right? They gave him access and they got access. They helped him rejuvenate and but, live and learn. I mean, what are you going to do, boss? They did let him go immediately, which was good, and you know what I'm saying? And maybe though, I guess the other benefit is there's no, it's not like without МeidasTouch, he could have also gone out and gotten some platform. I think maybe it's beneficial. I mean, ΜeidasTouch is going to have to deal with the repercussions because a lot of people are going to be pissed. But here's why I think it'll be beneficial. You ready? Because the right wingers aren't going to take him back, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, he went to the left, and so now he's going to do the thing of like, oh, I was pressured and try and get the right wing back, but the right wing ain't going to take him back. And now he's lost the left. So he may have just fucked himself like completely. And so ΜeidasTouch may have prevented him from going out there and doing his thing and building a little something and then co-opting the left, And it's not like he wasn't going to find money anyway. Now we can just treat him like Anna and Cenk, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think we can treat him like Anna and Cenk because I don't think the right wingers will ever trust him again. Okay? It doesn't matter about Trump. It matters about the right wing base. Like, look at JD Vance, right? JD Vance totally flipped and became a Trumpy. Trump loves him, whatever. Oh, he's my guy. But I don't think a lot of MAGA likes JD Vance. They don't trust his ass. They look at him with a lot of suspicion, right? And Midas will be okay because they come from an ethical base. They do. Yeah, no, I think he's gonna be, I think, sometimes you put faith in people and they turn out to be scummy. You can't really control that, right? I mean, it could happen to anybody, dude. Kristen Sinema, anybody? John Fetterman, anybody? Right? You know what I mean? Like, dude, sometimes we get had. Dude, how do you think the Arizona voters felt after Kyrsten Sinema, dude? Oh my God, bro. Right? Like, you know, sometimes you just get had. Dude, what a DJ.
Of today, it's mine. It belongs to me. And you know what I find the most ironic? Something I again talked about in my Substack of today. It's ironic. What's ironic is because all of those of the loudest antagonists that have been posting and writing and saying things about me have risked absolutely nothing in their lives, and nothing even coming close to what I.
Yeah, so you know, I will explain why I think 𝗫𝗫, why I think they didn't make a video, guys, because I think with something like this, you don't want to overhype it, right? Like if he leaves and the owners of the network come out and, oh, we got to make a video, then you're basically saying, oh, this is huge damage control. Like all they did was they tweeted, oh, the minute they find out, the minute they see that shit, they tweeted, oh, by the way, we just canceled this shit. Moving on, right? And I think that's actually probably a better move to minimize him as opposed to like the leaders of the organization. Oh, we got to address this. They're just like, nope, this guy's a fraud. Next, right? Later, right? Fired with a tweet, dude. Dude, it's like breaking up with him. Can I just tell you a little Fortnite story, guys? You ready? Check this out. So when at the height of my Fortnite fame, I had this team, and one of the members of my team got really arrogant, and he got really like, he was talking shit about me, and he was just being a negative weirdo, and he's getting real big ego. And so what I did was I kicked him off the team, and everyone got so mad about this, and I replaced him, and then everyone would come into my chat, and I wouldn't even talk about the guy. And then I made a big video announcing what happened with my fucking Fortnite team. And I never even said the old member's name. I literally just talked about the new guys. And people were like so like busted over it because they were like, dude, you just made a 10-minute video and you never even mentioned your old teammate's name. But like, moving on. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to sit there and like treat him like he was the end all be all. I simply made the change and then moved on to the next thing appropriately, right? And I think sometimes that's the way to go. Like you do the big thing when it's really like heartfelt, somebody in the inner circle. And when it's somebody like that, you minimize it by just tweeting he's gone. And then you bounce, and then you don't ever mention him really again. You just act like he was just, you know, like he was a janitor or something that you fired, right? That's it. Just fucking, yeah. Like, Michael who? Right? What? Can you spell it? How do you spell his name? C-O-H what? Can you spell that for me? Dude, I'm serious. That shit works, bro. Dude, janitors are great. Dude, janitors are useful. I'm not degrading them, but when a janitor gets fired, the company doesn't make a statement about it, right? They just literally mail you a check, okay? That's it. But, dude, look at this. Look at this thing. And the irony, who among my loudest antagonists has risked everything like I have, who has appeared 7 times before congressional committees, faced 2 grand juries, and stood as a key witness in 2 trials that shook a presidency. Not them, me. Oh, he shook a presidency. My heart on fire, my soul exposed, my family on edge. Dude, what a fucking, this guy is just so oppressed. My emotional health shredded, my finances decimated. How about all the women that Trump raped, buddy? How about them, Michael Cohen, the ones that didn't have any money, didn't get to go in front of Congress? My nights haunted by fear and anxiety. Dude, Dude, I didn't outsource the risk. I lived it. I breathed it. And now I am judged by those who have contributed nothing, who have never paid a price beyond typing venom into a scream, dude. Oh, man, dude. This is so funny. And you know what's funny about this, though, is Michael Cohen, I don't really feel sad for you, boss, because you didn't even tell us the truth, bro. You know so much more about that guy. Like, you should have helped us put him in prison. But you didn't. You held back. You covered shit. You lied to 𝗙𝗹𝗹𝗪, boss. Like, who are you kidding, bro? We're not going to feel any sympathy for you, man, because you were a con the whole time, bro. You were a fucking con man, boss.
I have. And stood, and worse, green, us actually stood tall. Who confronted?
So when my integrity is shredded by people who have done nothing to advance accountability, we should all pause and ask, who actually stood tall? Who confronted the system knowing the cost? Who bore the pain, the humiliation, the permanent scars? That person is me. That person paid. That person still pays every day. Not just for themselves, but for truth. For truth. For truth. Dude. Me. Dude. Oh, shit. Dude, let's go.
The system, knowing the cost.
Knowing
who bore the pain, the humiliation.
Who bore the pain, knowing the humiliation, the permanent scars, the scars.
Humiliation, the permanent scars.
And permanent scars. Scars. Dude, fuck this guy, bro. All right. And yet, this weekend, the pack feasted. Substack, YouTube, Blue Sky, Threads, Twitter, every platform became a hunting ground. Their mission was to destroy, not to illuminate, not to inform, not to reckon with the horrors of the system. The horrors of the system. You mean the horrors of, like, somebody being a fixer for 40 years and thinking that they get to just, like, you think you just walked into a church, and you do a couple Hail Marys and it's over? Right? Just destroy, cancel, humiliate, ruin, burn relationships, business and personal. And congratulations, you succeeded. Hey, man, at least you can always go back to the abusive Epstein rapist. Dude.
With 𝗦𝘂𝗽 Network. And congratulations.
Oh, what does he say here?
Humiliate, a hunting ground for me.
Dude, he called him out, bro. He called him out.
To destroy. Not to illuminate, not to inform, not to reckon with the horrors of the system. Just to destroy. To cancel, humiliate, ruin, burn relationships, business, like my relationship with 𝗦𝘂𝗽 Network. And congratulations. You allowed them to succeed.
Oh, dude, you allowed them to succeed. Bro, Tony says, I hate these people for the victim's sake. I want to know how long they, Cohen, and they knew about human trafficking, SA, and potential murders. Dude, they knew it all, dude. Cohen knew it all. Okay, Cohen, everything we are going to find out. And remember this, guys. Every fudging thing, bro. Everything we find out about Epstein that comes out eventually after all of his obstruction and obfuscation, everything we find out about Epstein, Cohen knew. Cohen knew all of it. He was privy to all of it. Every time Trump had to hide something, to bully, to threaten, every car that showed up with high beams on, or every woman that saw some dude with black leather gloves showing up in a parking lot of a grocery store saying, if you say anything, the next time I show up, I'm going to be carrying a fucking hammer. Every single person, every event like that went down, this motherfucker not only knew about it, he probably arranged it. So I'm sorry, Michael Cohen. Nobody anywhere is going to lose a goddamn second of sleep over your life being canceled or 𝗦𝘂𝗽 giving you the boot. Because it's not like 𝗦𝘂𝗽, they let those voices on the internet convince them to cut ties. The minute they saw this, they knew you're a fraud, bro. They know you're up to shit. They know you're pulling some shit. And so they booted you, right? They booted you because you deserve the fucking boot, bro. Because you're not honest. You weren't honest enough. You have more information on this guy. You were like feeding us probably some bullshit the whole time. So yeah, man, cry me a river. All right, dude. Yeah, they got ahead of this, bro. Dude, you succeeded, dude. Look at him.
I've already discussed that issue. I've talked about.
Dude, look at him, dude. Dude, he's just reading it. Opinions are like assholes. Yeah, we never heard that one before. Let's jump to the end.
He doesn't give a shit about whether or not they're angry at him. He has his people, and it's all that he feels that he needs. And so what do? What are these folks doing? The wolf pack, as we keep calling them? You redirect it. You redirect it to someone familiar, to someone accessible.
Dude, what a victim. There we go. Dude, screw this guy, boss. Dude, we know he knows. All right, let me find that 𝗙𝗪𝗟𝗏 one. All right, 𝗙𝗪𝗟𝗏. She was kind of on my shit list for a while because of the way she behaved with 𝗏𝗏𝗄𝗃𝗍𝗍. But there was a short she did about Michael Cohen. This one right here. I watched this the other day. This is good information, right? Let's watch this.
There's new information in the Epstein files that show that Michael Cohen, President Trump's fixer, tried to dangle information to federal prosecutors about what President Trump had said about Jeffrey Epstein back in 2019. And the prosecutors, they were frankly skeptical. And here's why this matters. Back in August, I was one of the few journalists who actually pressed Michael Cohen on what he knew about Jeffrey Epstein.
Now, this, guys, back in August, we made a video about this. This was about the Katie Johnson case, and this was the one where Michael was like, oh, I don't really remember her, but oh, yeah, I did actually send somebody to, like, shut her down, right? Do you know what I mean? Like, I actually made a video about this particular episode, okay?
And Donald Trump.
I have no knowledge of anything with Jeffrey Epstein. Zero.
I just find it hard to believe that at no point during the time that you worked for him, you never spoke to him about Jeffrey Epstein.
No.
But after some real pushing...
Dude, no. Like, please, dude. Dude, then you were the worst fixer on the planet. Dude, such a liar. Dude, such a liar, bro.
He finally cracked and admitted that there was another case involving an infant Jane Doe. He said that he sent private investigators to find out where she was, where she lived, who she was, and that it was a bogus case and that it was dropped.
He told me it was bullshit. Take care of it. I said, okay.
That was it.
That's it.
It's bullshit.
He said, it's bullshit. Never happened.
Since then, Michael Cohen has been going out there and trashing me everywhere. But now we know that he was actually dangling information about Jeffrey Epstein at the time to federal prosecutors while telling the world he knew nothing.
Zero.
So what exactly does Michael Cohen still know about Jeffrey Epstein? I think
Dude.
it's time to come clean.
Yeah, the thing is guys, he knows all of it. He knows all of it, okay? Literally, he knows all of it. Give me a fucking break. Dude, we look at Donald Trump, okay? Look at Donald Trump. All right, think about this, guys. You ready? I'm going to run something by you, okay? What do we know about Donald Trump in the age of Twitter? The minute Trump has a thought, the minute Trump thinks about anybody, anything, he fucking has to, like, broadcast it to the world. Okay? He is, dude, I relate to it because I do the same thing. I'm a verbal processor. The minute I get a thought, I'm like putting it out to the world. And he is like, so what I'm saying is before Twitter, before like 2011, he was calling Michael Cohen every time he had an issue. Why? Because they had attorney-client privilege. Anything he tells Michael Cohen, nobody can sue him. It can never be compelled into evidence. Every time he had an issue with fucking Jeffrey Epstein, he called Michael Cohen. Oh, yeah, he's fucking trying to get that property. I'm going to undercut him. I'm going to get that Russian money. Oh, my God, she's suing me for SA, right? Every fucking thing in Trump's life, he called somebody to tell them about it, to process that shit verbally, and get somebody to reaffirm, oh, yeah, you should do that. Yeah, you want me to handle that for you? And I guarantee the guy he was calling every time was Michael Cohen. So don't bullshit us and act like you were somewhere out on the wings. We know how Trump operates it. We know how Trump operates. We've seen him in action. We know that he was tweeting to Michael Cohen every fucking step of the way. And I swear to you, you'll never convince me otherwise. Because it's like you look at the way Trump is and you know that's what he was. He was like a wet blanket. Right? He was a wet nurse for Trump's fucking psychological trauma. That's what those lawyer fixers are. Because everything he tells Michael Cohen is now like nobody can ever find out about it. That's how these guys use attorneys. That's the whole point of having an attorney fixer, guys, is because of that like that attorney-client privilege loophole, man. It's literally what you do. That's the whole point. That's right. Otherwise, you have a fixer that's not a lawyer, but it's because you can talk to them, right? They're not fooling anybody, bro. They're not, these guys are not fooling anybody. Todd Blanche, same fucking way, bro, right? You know that Todd Blanche, right? You know that Trump is fucking ringing Todd Blanche. Todd, come rub my prostate. Oh, let me tell you what happened today. Dude, fucking clowns, bro. Oh, shit. All right. Dude, good luck. Good luck, Mikey. Oh, yeah. All right. Dude, we love to see it. Dude, 𝗙cie, let's go. Boo, let's go. Thank you for that gifted membership. We appreciate you guys. I want to make sure I haven't missed anything back here. Dude, I got this shit. All right, I did get Tony's. Let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Dude, we're killing it. All right, we're going to hit. Fucking, I'm being reasonable tonight, guys. I'm being reasonable. Reasonable time. We went long last night. America's a corrupt state. Oh, yeah, dude. Right now, like, my God, dude, under Trump, this is about as corrupt as America has ever been, guys. It literally is. I think, you know, we're in beyond Nixon set of corruption. Okay. See, the interesting thing about the Nixon corruption that I was thinking about the other day is, you know how they caught Nixon, right? When, you know, the second election, but like, you know that Nixon, I'm sure, did that in the first election too, right? Like the question was, how long had Nixon been corrupt before he got caught? And like, I feel like we're that way too, that we're like, you know, 50 times the Nixon corruption. But, you know, it's just so much more involved, right? Because Trump is like, has a whole family and his entire administration is corrupt. Like everybody, like he will only work with people who are as corrupt as he is. It's pretty astonishing, dude. You know, and I mean, Trump has been corrupt his whole life, dude. But yeah. All right, moving on. Dude, what's our last topic now? We're going to go in. We got the Michael Cohen. I'm glad we finally got to talk about that. Oh yeah, dude. There's a twofold thing that we're going to talk about right here, guys, because I want to talk about two elements of the GOP. All right. Number one, what we're about to talk about is we're going to put a bookend on what we talked about yesterday about obviously Don Lemon, right? You have Don Lemon. He was the journalist on scene at that church event, okay, where you had some protesters. They discovered that the pastor of this church was also a high up ICE official and he had been hiding it. They're like, dude, a man of Jesus hiding, being an ICE guy. This guy's dishonest. So they go and protest the church. Now, immediately the MAGA people are like pissed off about this, which I personally, guys, I find this to be a little bit bullshit because when we look at what's going on, let me just show you first off, let me just show you, like, ICE has been raiding churches, okay? ICE had been going to churches and disrupting church worship services by dragging members out of churches. They did it in Arizona. They did it in California, in Downey. They did it in Atlanta. This has been a technique of theirs. And what's more, none of the right-wingers had a problem when ICE went and started disrupting churches. Okay? Not a single right-winger took issue with ICE going in and breaking up services, worship services, to drag immigrants out. Okay? They had no issue with it. They're fine with it. But now a handful of protesters go and protest ICE in a church, and they're like, whoa, holy shit. Now, guys, there are some laws about this because this was a white nationalist target. If you go back in time during the civil rights movement, the KKK would go into black churches and they would fuck people up. And there were bombings. There were all kinds of shit that the KKK did because the black people regularly went to church. So they were attacking churches. So there are some laws in place that like, hey man, you can't be going in and fucking up churches. Okay. Now, this is bullshit. Okay. What they're doing, because first off, Don Lemon did not create that protest. Okay. Don Lemon found out the protest was happening and he went and covered it. And he was a journalist. Okay. But the thing about this though, is they're choosing Don Lemon because he is black. And they announced using the KKK Act on a black man on MLK Day. And they did this on purpose, guys. Okay, because I've talked about this. I have talked about how Donald Trump and Project 2025 and this entire thing, this entire white Christian nationalist thing is payback. It is literally just the people that were upset that they were forced to desegregate. They were forced to integrate. They've been working for 50 fucking years to pay back for that. And now they want to use the Civil Rights Act and the Civil Rights era legislation against people of color to re-empower the white Christian agenda. Okay. And they're doing this purposely. It's why they made up CRT. They went after DEI. They are specifically attacking anything that helps people of color, anything having to do with equity or affirmative action. They are on the attack because their ultimate goal is to use the Civil Rights Act legislation to punish black people and people of color and to have their immigration Gestapo terrorize people of color so they can reestablish white Christian nationalism as it existed in the 1940s. And yeah, the fact that he is black and gay is like bowling a strike, bro. It's like a gutter ball that jumped in and knocked down all the pins. So this is very targeted. This is very fucking targeted, guys. Now, I want to watch this clip. Okay, we have Harmeet Dillon. Do you guys know Harmeet Dillon? She is the Assistant Attorney General. She is in charge of like civil rights stuff in Pam Bondi's administration. Okay, and here she is. Dude, she is a scoundrel. Okay, she has been, her law firm, Dillon Law, has been engaged in all manner of like fringe cases. They would try all kinds of like civil liberty things, like to try and protect gun ownership or to try and get some anti-LGBTQ or some crackdown on, you know, sexuality or right. All this religious liberty shit. Now, I call her Fivehead. Okay. I've interacted with her a little bit on Twitter and she did not like me. She's muted me on her main account and she like told me so, but she can't mute me on the government account. So I no longer interact with her main account. I only interact on her government account where she can't get rid of me. But I call her Fivehead Dylan. That's my little pet nickname for her. And me being a fellow, you know, I've got a hairline, so I feel like I could talk about it because I got one. But so I lay into her because she's fake, guys. Okay? She is a partisan hack. Now, there's nothing wrong with her having her political beliefs. That's fine. You want to be a far right winger, whatever. You want to have these extreme MAGA beliefs, that's fine. But the thing about this, guys, is her job is a civil rights fucking attorney in the U.S. government, a very high up, like deputy attorney general. So her job is to represent the civil rights of all Americans. And she is so blatantly like talking and behaving in such a way where the only civil rights that matter are civil rights that are aligned in the MAGA religious freedom agenda. And she's blatant about it, that if you're not a MAGA and if you're outside that bubble or if you're one of the target groups, like not only are they not going to protect your civil rights, they're going to actively try to thwart them and harm you. They're going to use the office of the attorney general to hurt you. Okay? And guys, that is like corrupt. That's a type of corruption that is even more devastating, I think, than the financial corruption sometimes. Now, she went on Benny Johnson's podcast. Look at her, dude. Look at how fucking tired she is, bro. She is just so like, dude, she's such a nasty human being. But so she went on Benny Johnson's podcast today and she's doing the rounds, but she went on Benny Johnson's podcast to talk about this. And I want to point something out, okay? Because we're going to point out two things here. One, she's announcing about using the KKK Act and blah. But I want to point out another thing about her behavior as this civil rights protecting assistant attorney general on the Benny Johnson show, okay? Because her behavior was like way out of line in how she is just openly partisan, openly part of the Trump smear and sort of targeted retribution campaign. Okay, so let's go over to Benny Johnson's page for a sec. I'm sorry I got to do this to you guys, but yeah, Benny, he is a closeted man, and we all know this. But all right, so let's look at this shit. But here's one where like, dude, this is what I'm talking about with her outright targeted nature. Okay,
that we have an attorney general in Minnesota, Keith Ellison, a district attorney, Mary Moriarty, a mayor, Jacob Fry, and Tim Walz, Tampon Tim, who absolutely refuse to enforce our state laws, their own state states. That
okay, so now, why is this significant? Because she, the civil rights attorney general that is in charge of protecting all of our civil rights, which include the civil rights of our transgender, like human beings that are here in America, and women that use tampons, everybody. But so she calls Tim Walz Tampon Tim, right? For the Benny Johnson crowd or the whatever, the MAGA crowd. But like, she's a civil rights attorney. She is the lead civil rights attorney in the United States. She is the person in charge of protecting all of our civil rights. And she is calling the governor of Minnesota Tampon Tim for the MAGA crowd on Benny Johnson. Now, guys, this is part of the degeneration of their leadership, because the fact is, She's not leading for all of us. She's not protecting all of our civil rights. She is only protecting the rights of MAGA people, and the rest of us are scum. We're the devil. We're shit, right? And it's not just her, guys. This is now happening throughout the entire GOP. Okay, we also saw today, I believe it's on my timeline, but it also happened with fucking shithead, bro. Where is he? Right here. Okay, Andy Ogles. Look at what Andy Ogles said on Fox. Okay, you ready? Here we go.
So look, when you look at the footage of those folks that stormed that church, if that was a bunch of conservatives, a bunch of MAGA folks, they all been arrested, right? But because they're libtards in a blue city, they get a pass. Enough is enough. You have, when you look at ICE, when you look at the difficult job they're doing.
So he is describing the people who stormed the church. They didn't storm a church, but he uses the slur, guys. He is a sitting congressman that represents a bunch of those people that he so described in his own state, okay? Probably 30, 35, maybe 40% of his district is those people that he just slurred, right? And it's just absolute disdain, ableist slur that he's combined, right? Like he's a 12-year-old kid, a 12-year-old brain dead, Aiden Ross chair sniffer, and he's literally out there shitting on people that he's getting paid $180,000 a year to represent. So now they are blatantly not at all even governing for the people that disagree with them. Their entire government is only for the white Christian MAGA. That's it. That is their only, right? That is their only thing. If you are not them, you're an enemy. I'm not protecting you. I'm not governing for you. I am trying to arrest you. I am considering you satanic or lawless or libT, right? Whatever slur they come up with, we're the slurs. We're the people that even exercising our First Amendment rights makes us dirty, degenerate, worthy of going to prison. They don't believe in the First Amendment. And yet nobody stormed that church. I mean, dude, I'm going to make a video of this. We have the video recordings. We can see what happened.
More importantly, you look at the individuals they're detaining. So when you look at the criminal records of those that they're detaining, both from their home country and here, roughly 70% have some sort of criminal record.
That's incorrect. It's like 40%. And a lot of those criminal convictions are driving without insurance or whatever. They're not violent shit. They may be a drunk driving or they're, these are not, there is a very small percentage that are actually hardcore criminals. And in fact, though, the Democrats don't have a problem with hardcore criminals being removed, guys. Nobody has a problem with that. Hardcore criminals being deported. Nobody has an issue with criminal, immigrants being deported. We have an issue with, 3,000 mask-wearing agents putting fake license plates on vehicles and then roaming the streets and restaurants and parking lots looking for anyone with an accent to shake down and demand their papers, and if not, break their bones and send them to fucking Texas, right? Even because they have quotas on arrests, even if they falsely arrest them. Because every person, you ready for this, guys? This is a money grab. Every person that ICE arrests and then they ship to Texas and Texas interns them in a facility for a week. Oh, you're an American citizen. You're here for a week. We let you out. Texas bills the government for a week. Okay. Texas is getting a bunch of tax money just for holding these guys. It is like they are running a Ponzi scheme of human trafficking, where if half the people they arrest are U.S. citizens, they hold them for a week or 2 weeks, and they bill the government some outrageous number for 2 weeks of holding them. And it's just a cash register for Florida, for Texas, for Louisiana. It's a bunch of red states just looting the government. okay? Just getting numbers, and then they add those numbers to the number of arrests they made. They charge them with assault, and they add it to the 1,300% of assaults, and then they go ring the cash register, and eventually they let them out. But we know this. There's quotas. They don't have to be immigrants even. They are literally just taking money, guys. It is a huge money grab for states that don't generate any money. They're looting the U.S. Treasury. They're all in on it. It's a clown show, boss. The whole thing is a clown show. All right, so where's their announcement? Her announcement. Let's find her announcement where she says the KKK Act. All right, here it is. Right, DOJ to charge Don Lemon under KKK Act for inciting church raid. Now, again, Don Lemon's not getting convicted of this shit. All right, and it's a Gateway Pundit article, but let's find. All right, here's the video. Here's the video.
We will pursue charges in this case. I see various crimes that have occurred. Exactly what they are, I'm not going to flag, but the FACE Act has been mentioned as one of the predicates there. In other cases, the Biden DOJ used the Klan Act conspiracy charges tacked on to the FACE Act in the case of protests outside abortion clinics to bring much longer sentences. So there are a number of tools available to us. Who funded this? What else? What other crimes may have occurred? Was there a use of the wires or the mails in preparing?
See, you see how she just says we're on a witch hunt. Okay, we're on a witch hunt, dude. The abortion clinics, they were throwing bombs and shit in the 80s. Dude, they were very fervent, right? And you know what I'm saying? But they are looking for it. They're like, man, we're going to look for anything we can, okay? Let's go, dude. Dude, Don in jail. Is Don Lemon in jail? I don't think he's been arrested yet. Or you're saying, like, thinking about him being in jail cracks you up? Dom in jail for reporting for CNN again cracks you up? Dude, but it's like, dude, isn't this wild, right? That they are just looking, okay? They are just looking for, hold on one sec here. Yeah, I thought so. Thought we needed to unload somebody real quick. All right, we're gonna just get rid of somebody. There you go. Bye. We'll smell you later. Thank you for coming out. All right. Sayonara. But anyway, they're looking, they're seeking, they're looking, right? They're anything they can find, right? She's like, oh, we're looking into the mail. We're going to look for some sort of conspiracy. Now, we did. Yeah, we had one, a rather desperate one. But so what's wild about this, guys, is how they're this. I can't see how this is going to work out, right? I can't see how this is going to feed into their thing, because you may have noticed that the right wingers are stuck in a little bit of a loop, okay? Where MAGA elected Donald Trump because they believed he was going to go scorched earth, right? Obama was getting arrested, like Tim Walz was getting arrested, Gavin Newsom was getting arrested, J.B. Pritzker and Mayor Pete and Kamala Harris and Bill Clinton and fucking Tish James and Alvin Bragg and James Comey, right? Everybody was getting arrested. Everyone. All of them. Fucking Fani down in Georgia, right? All of them were getting arrested. Democrats, they're going to see them go in, the feds handcuff them. They're going to perp walk them. And now they're all mad because nobody's getting arrested, because you actually have to have evidence to fucking get an indictment. And even if you get an indictment, they're just going to show up and they're going to beat these cases, because they may get an indictment, but there's not enough evidence to convict any of these people. Obama's never getting arrested. It was never about eggs. It was never about gas. They say it's eggs and gas, but the reality is they wanted Democrats going to jail. And you see them in the replies on Twitter, man. They are like, jail. I want to see jail. They want to see like heads cracked open. They want violence. Okay, now none of that's ever going to happen. So they are eternally left wanting. This is, I guess, this is the curse. This is like the tail eating of MAGA. That's going to be the destruction, okay? That's going to be the destruction of their movement, because they are all frothing at the mouth for a type of arrest and a type of treatment that is never, ever going to happen. So they're never going to get it. And they're always going to be mad that, like, oh, well, you charged them, but why aren't they in jail? Oh, you fucking brought them in for questioning, but they're not getting arrested. And now she's promising, oh, yeah, we're going to go look at the mail. We're going to find out. We're going to pull this and that. We're throwing the book at Don Lemon. We're doing the KKK Act, right? The KKK Act against a black man on MLK Day. We are like, oh, the prophecy. Oh, 𝗙𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗙𝗀𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙 going to go anywhere, right? None of this is going to go anywhere. I just don't think, even if they bring these charges, they're going to go to Don Lemon. Like, you think he's going to get convicted under the KKK Act, right? Really? In Minnesota, like in Minnesota, you're going to convict him, like whatever, you're going to pull him into the federal court there? Like, come on, bro. Of being a reporter on this shit. And what are they going to dig in? Mostly what they're going to do is they're going to dig up shit that's going to end up on Benny Johnson's Twitter page or in a Nick Sortor video or that goon with the fucking, you know, whatever, the rehab shoes, Nick Shirley, the guy whose mom dresses him. He's going to make a video about it, and it's going to become some right-wing narrative bullshit, but it's not actually going to go anywhere. And then they're all going to be mad again, and they're going to look for the next person to target. Right? But they are just announcing, oh, yeah, we are going to dig. Oh, Biden did this. Obama did this. So now we're going to do this. We're going to get even. Like, their whole life is like retribution for some perceived slight. That is their entire fucking existence, guys. That is it. That's all they do. And the wild thing is you never are satisfied. When you live for retribution, you are never satisfied. And so no amount of retribution, it's like the more you get a little bit of retribution, the more retribution you want. And eventually the Epstein files are coming out. And like these people are all ruining their careers, dude. But man, Fivehead, she's on a tear, boss. She is. Fivehead Dylan, she is a scoundrel.
We will pursue charges in this case. I see various crimes that have occurred. Exactly what they are, I'm not going to flag, but the FACE Act has been mentioned as one of the predicates there. In other cases, the Biden DOJ used the Klan Act conspiracy charges tacked on to the FACE Act in the case of protests outside abortion clinics to bring much longer sentences. So there are a number of tools available to us. Who funded this? What else? What other crimes may have occurred? Was there a use of the wires or the mails in preparing for this event? Did anyone cross state lines to do this?
Yeah, like Kyle Rittenhouse. Look at her, dude. Look at her. Oh, she's so excited. Ooh, did anyone cross state lines? Oh, state lines. Dude, look at her. Retribution. Bro, if she could cut somebody's head off with a hacksaw, I think she would be so excited. She's got those Charlie Manson eyes, boss.
All of those are potential predicates for additional federal charges.
Armin, I've just pulled up the Klan Act because this is the first time that I've heard this mentioned. This is a act
Klan
that
Act
was passed in 1871. Correction.
Again, guys, right? Look at that shit. The fucking the Klan Act from 1871. They're going back to the Reformation after slavery, right? All of their shit they're trying to pull back from the slave days, guys. Every law, the 𝗙ecie𝗶𝗶𝗹𝗀, right? They're always going back to the 1800s. They're so obvious, bro.
There to combat the Ku Klux Klan and protect African Americans' voting rights, especially the Enforcement Act, which is known as the Force Act. So here's some of the information on screen. Would you mind breaking down for us?
Yeah.
Because we have just read the FACE Act and how this is an
break it down, Fivehead. Come on.
FACE Act, an obvious and egregious demonstrable
Come on,
violation of the
Fivehead.
FACE Act because they were entering a place of worship, harassing and threatening. We just played a video of a bearded man who was threatening to attack the Christians that were worshiping there.
Threatening to attack the Christians, guys. Christians are under attack. They took away Christmas, and they like the transgender people got a holiday, and somebody made you use pronouns. No!
So it seems like an obvious FACE Act violation, but the Klan Act here, it is on screen. First time I've heard it mentioned. Can you unpack this for us, Harmony?
Yeah, the Klan Act is one of the most important federal civil rights statutes, and it goes back to the time when President Lincoln emancipated the slaves, and yet the southern states, Dixiecrats mainly, were refusing to give them equal rights. And in fact,
by the way, hold on, guys, because she said Dixiecrats. Okay, I just want to put this in perspective because she's going to talk about Southern Democrats. And she said Dixiecrats. So I want to pull up this little thing here because I want to show you this guy, Strom Thurmond. He was a very, long-standing member of Congress, but I want to show you that he was Democratic until 1964. And then after the Civil Rights Act, that Southern Democrat, he was from South Carolina, he then switched to Republican in 1964. Because the Southern Democrats became the modern Republican Party in 1964. And this was the guy who started the Dixiecrats. And yes, he was a Klan member. Okay, he was Southern Democrat KKK. Because there was the Southern Democrats, KKK. They were the KKK. And then in 1964, when the Democrats started doing civil rights legislation, Democrats that had been led earlier by JFK and other people, all of these Southern Democrat Dixiecrats, they switched to the modern day Republican Party. So the party that Harmeet Dillon is in, and the party that Benny Johnson is in, and the party that Donald Trump is in, and Kristi Noem and Stephen Miller and all these motherfuckers is the Dixiecrats and the Southern Democrats pre-1964, okay? They are the modern-day Republican Party, and MAGA are the Dixiecrats of today, okay? So to put it in perspective, okay, these are the Dixiecrats, all right? But here we go.
Lincoln emancipated the slaves, and yet the southern states, Dixiecrats mainly, were refusing to give them equal rights. And in fact, that you had sheriffs and you had law enforcement harassing the newly freed slaves.
Was doing that.
The Klan Act is a law that makes it illegal to terrorize citizens, to violate their civil rights, to get together and conspire to violate the civil rights.
Again, like people protesting the church, it's going to be pretty hard to prove that they violated their civil rights because, like, dude, they were having a protest of the church. They didn't shut the church down. They didn't prevent people from getting into the church. You see where I'm going with this, guys? Like, this idea, it's going to be pretty hard for them to prove that this one protest for a half an hour violated the civil rights of the people in that building. And Don Lemon, like, they're really stretching here. But like, look at this, guys, right? You can shoot a woman in the face. You can like cut people out of their seatbelts and throw them on the ground or throw them into the street in the course of your immigration duties. And that's not a violation of civil rights. But my God, if you say, hey, we're pissed that your pastor is a nice guy, and you walk into a church service, they're like, oh my God, you look at what you've done, how you've harmed. I mean, talk about the ultimate persecution complex. It's crazy.
It is often used against law enforcement, but is now used against others as well. So whenever anyone conspires to violate the protected civil rights of American citizens, the Klan Act can be used to bring a conspiracy charge. We, in the federal law enforcement parlance, call this 241 and 242 civil and criminal conspiracies. And so what the Biden administration did is, if 3 grandmas got together to pray outside an abortion clinic for the souls of the people inside, and including unborn children, they would say, oh, that's not just a violation of the Klan Act, that's a conspiracy to violate the civil rights of women going in there to get abortion.
Yeah, they weren't punishing women that were praying. Okay, but whatever. All right, right. The innocent prayer people. Dude, Benny always, doesn't he look like he's sleeping? He does, dude. Benny is like, dude, Benny, he's either sleeping or he's, surfing the net, surfing his favorite male websites, right?
Abortions. And so we're going to add additional charges and punish that more and make it from a misdemeanor under the FACE Act to a felony under the Klan Act. And President Trump pardoned the pro-life protesters in those cases. I have recently defended successfully in the 11th Circuit a case called 𝗙𝗍𝗍, a case of Jane's Revenge, the pro-abortion protesters violently attacking crisis pregnancy centers in Florida. And we had the court uphold the Klan Act criminal enhancement to the FACE Act. So I know this is very deep in the weeds, but the point is, there are a number of things. The FACE Act is just the start. Like I said, you have material support for disruptive activities. You have conspiracy to violate civil rights. You have potentially the use of other instrumentalities to commit crimes. And so some of these folks who did this.
Dude, she is a little bit like Sidney Powell. Dude, Fivehead Dylan, like she's crazy, guys. Okay? She has been putting a lot of Joe Rogan up there on that Fivehead. She is nuts. She is a crazy religious zealot who will do anything in the book to try and give religious people power. And yeah, dude, this is going nowhere. Okay. Again, even if they charge with a bunch of civil rights violations, a bunch of felonies under the Klan Act, they're not going to get convictions, right? And then they're going to claim, oh, the deep state cucked them or some shit. I said Joe Rogan on her Fivehead, bro. Dude, I call it Joe Rogan, right? But it's funny because everyone thinks of Joe Rogan. Dude, Benny is going through it, boss, because Benny's vocabulary is even more emotionally stunted than mine is. I mean, I'm like, dude, bro, but I'm still, even underneath my dude, bro, I'm an intellectual that went to a fucking top 25 university and I'm highly educated underneath it. But Benny is like, dude, bro, hey guys, hey bro. And that's it. Underneath that, Benny is just a plagiarizer and a ruble counter while taking Russian money. So for him to sit here and listen to people talk about actual shit, his brain is being fried. You know what I mean? It is, dude. His brain is being fried by this.
Have self-identified. Don Lemon himself has come out and said he knew exactly what was going to happen inside that facility. He went into the facility and then he began, quote unquote, committing journalism.
Yeah, he began covering the situation.
And as if that's sort of a shield from being an embedded part of a criminal conspiracy.
Yeah, see, this is going to be tough, right? Like when the KKK breaks in somewhere and the journalists go cover it, they're going to charge the journalists with the criminal conspiracy. Yeah, good luck with that, Fivehead. Yeah, good luck with that, Fivehead. Yeah, good luck. And I know we know you're targeting the gay black dude, but dude, I don't know if Benny ever will come out of the closet. You think he will? Dude, look at him. Dude, he's asleep right now. Benny's thinking about Grindr. He's like, dude, I got to remember, what's my Grindr password? It's Fivehead, Mossy, the ravenous Mossy Bank, 69. Dude, that's it.
It isn't. And so, we're getting our ducks in a row. We're putting the facts together. And this is a very serious matter. Next Sunday, nobody should think in the United States that they're going to be able to get away with this. Everyone in the protest community needs to know that the fullest force of the federal government is going to come down and prevent this from happening and put people away.
Yeah, just like you did with the sandwich thrower. Well, guess what, Fivehead Dylan? You ready? You ready from the protest community? Let me just tell you, none of us are afraid of you or your five head or your skinny Ozempic, like glorified Jesus leader, Pamela Bondi, and you guys hiding the Epstein files and you guys being illegitimate because you and Blanche and Bondi and 𝗙ście𝗶𝗹𝗆 are all in violation of federal law now for like 31 days, 32 days and counting. So, like, we have a message for you, five head. You ready for this? Shut the fuck up. No one cares. Yeah. Fuck off. Right? Dude, nobody is concerned, but like threaten, protest community, the full force of the federal government, the full force of the illegitimate federal government, right? The illegitimate federal government that's breaking federal law every day. And you want to talk to us about the law? GFY, baby. GFY. Dude, welcome to Cyberpunk Kentucky. Let's go. All right. On that note, dude, on that note, we're going to go, we're going to dance. Dude, conspiracy to commit what crime? So they're trying to prosecute them for the FACE Act, which is about invading a space to like prevent, to trample on people's civil rights, right? Which ostensibly they're saying, people went there to exercise their right to free religion, to worship religion, and these people came in and prevented them from being able to exercise that right. And then they're adding on the Ku Klux Klan law, which is one that is like saying, adding on that it was a disruption, a conspiracy disruption, meaning it was planned and right. So they're trying to basically look for whatever extra charges they can add. Let's look at the FACE Act. It's capital letters. It's an acronym. Right? The FACE Act it's about churches and right here it is. Right here. Damaging facilities or places to worship. Freedom of access to clinic entrances. So it was made for abortion clinics, right? Because people used to prevent women from getting into the clinics or they used to bomb them, right? They used to throw Molotov cocktails in there. But it's saying that violence and intimidation in clinics and houses of worship. But here's the problem, okay, is nobody was damaging the place of worship. And I don't think anyone was using intimidation and threats. Like, this is really about violence, force, and threats. And having Don Lemon ask some probing questions he was a reporter covering it. So that's going to be tough getting him, but it's like the violence, right? And then the Klan Act is similar, okay? The Klan Act is similar because the Klan Act is right here, right? Paramilitary activities of the KKK, it making it a federal crime to conspire, okay, to deprive citizens of their rights. And it was used about the Klan, like preventing people from voting. Okay, so they had to pass a law to get the Klan to stop hurting black people and using intimidation and military techniques, aka guns and threats of lynching to prevent them from voting. But it's about the conspiring. So this is like they're trying to say that Don Lemon planned this thing with these guys to conspire to, obstruct the civil rights. But guys, the thing about these is the violence aspect, okay? And there was nothing about that thing that was violent in any way. They didn't even like break a window. There wasn't even any fucking vandalism, So they're going to charge this, but again, will they be able to obtain a conviction? I don't think so. And I don't think they're going to be able to get Don Lemon at all. But again, though, guys, this isn't because something happened. This is like the sandwich thrower. And this is the fascism playbook, which is we're going to try to charge you with the craziest, most outrageous 20 years in prison thing because we want to scare you into no longer using your voice. We're going to bully you with the force of the government and threats of 30 years in prison to get you to be silent and compliant. And like, fuck them. Even if they do put Don Lemon in prison, there's going to be 50 more Don Lemons taking his place. You can't put us all in jail, five-head. Hate to burst your bubble there, but there's more of us than there are of you, Trump admin, and we're going to win this fucking election. We're going to take the House back. We're going to start investigating all these clowns. All right, you ready? You ready? You ready? You guys bought a dance party. We're going to go dance. I got to go make videos. Let's go. Let's fucking go, baby. It's time. It's time. Dude, these guys, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's crazy about these guys is, you know, they try to like get us for the sandwich thrower for the foot long, but we're just going to show up with one of those 12-foot party subs and it's going to be on, bro. Right? So whatever, the fascists, the Nazis, they're not going to win. Right? Dude. Oh, let's stretch it out. Oh. There we go. The light didn't look right. Oh, shit. I just realized, too, that all night, that light wasn't even on, bro. I had a light missing, boss. All night. Oh, fuck, bro. Oh, the stretch. Dude. Stretching is so good, boss. Dude, we didn't get to look at Don Lemon's. I probably should have looked at Don Lemon's response to this, but we didn't look at that. Maybe I'll look at that privately and we'll add it. But yeah, dude, this is not really, dude. The party sub is the way it's at, right? You like that? The party sub, bro. We're gonna show up with the party sub, boss. Fuck it, dude. Let's see what happens when that 12-footer comes at you. Dude, they are overcompensating. Yes. Yeah, guys. And let me just tell you, the overcompensation shows the level of weakness they have, right? Dude, this is what authoritarians do. Like, my dad was an authoritarian, and he used to threaten you with, like, the craziest punishments, and he would keep escalating the punishment and, like, finger wagging. And then you just keep rebelling and just fucking taking the pain and be like, fuck you, boss. You're not going to control us. You know what I mean? Oh, all right. It's time to dance, baby. Well, deja vu. You guys ready? You ready? Oh, time to dance. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Dude, I'm ready. I'm ready to grind it. Here we go. Oh, oh, oh.
Been here before, yeah.
Hit that blood flowing! I'm in love. I'm in love. But me, yeah. But me, yeah, yeah. You, I love you. Yeah, you, I love you. Yeah, you, I love you. I love you. All right, guys, thank you. I will see you tomorrow. Keep the faith, baby. Good night.